It's New York versus LA.
Oh, it's the man Andres Reyes with the finish at the far post.
It's the Red Bulls versus the Galaxy. And this is the Galaxy. Sirius XM FC. Sirius XM FC. Broadcasting FC. Broadcasting
to work for the New York Red Bulls, and what did that one end up being? I think the final was 6-2 in that match, right? And so you can see how dangerous they are. Of course, the catalyst in the midfield is not there. We talked about it, Ricky Puig. So somebody else is going to have to step up today. Gaston Brugman gets the start. We thought it might be Diego Fagundes. We thought it might be Marco Reus. We're not sure how fit he is. Gaston Brugman, a guy who hasn't started a game since October 5th of this year, gets the start today, but he's got a lot of experience to lean on.
When you think of iconic cities in the United States, it is New York and LA. Such a rivalry between these cities. We saw it in Major League Baseball as well this year, and it was the West Side that came out on the winning side. Keith Costigan, Tony Meola, Brian Dunseth. We'll be back with all the action. MLS Cup final just around the corner.
London is calling you to Sirius XM FC for a marquee Premier League matchup.
That's a good ball. Madison! That is a magnificent goal.
What's up, SO Peeps? Thank you for hanging out with us for MLS Cup. The LA Galaxy hosting the New York Red Bulls. Not Inter Miami, not Atlanta United, not the teams that some expected to be here. It is LA Galaxy against the Red Bulls. The Red Bulls going for MLS Cup. Red Bull Insider, I see ya. Sheeptards, if you're out there, my man, good luck to your Galaxy. And don't forget, everyone, please hit that like button down below. Let's get more soccer fans here in the chat hanging out with us for MLS Cup 2024. As well, please share the link out. That helps us get more people here and help this awesome community grow. Now, it's great to see everybody back here from the old SOP days. Now, let's get after the game. Let's have a good one. Keep it classy in the chat, and we'll see you in there.
All the viral songs from TikTok's For You page.
All on one SiriusXM channel. Presented by creators like me.
TikTok Radio.
Channel 4.
Or at home with SiriusXM on your phone,
Computer,
Alexa,
TV, and other internet-connected devices.
The hot stove is heating up, and MLB Network Radio is your ultimate destination for wall-to-wall coverage of the winter meetings in Dallas.
It may be more exciting than the World Series.
Beginning Sunday, join our team of insiders and analysts as we bring you exclusive interviews and live updates straight from the heart of the action. Catch all the deals, storylines, and decisions shaping the 2025 season only on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and the SiriusXM app.
There is real advantage for teams that know how to play in the snow. Playoff runs have to go through cold weather.
When it happens in the NFL, we're reacting to it on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Happy for Sam Darnold. They might be the most underrated 10-win team, but it's fun to watch them.
Get closer to the game with interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
Washington's outstanding rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels.
Well, it always feels great to get a win. We got to make plays. We got to be able to finish.
Nobody covers the game like SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
It's New York versus LA. This is the MLS Cup Final on Sirius XM FC.
Welcome back to Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. What a beautiful day and what a beautiful setting for MLS Cup. LA Galaxy have not lost in this stadium this year. New York Red Bulls have been unplayable when they've been away from home in the playoffs. Something has to give today. Keith Costigan alongside U.S. men's national team legend Tony Meola, former MLS defender Brian Dunseth with us as well. Tony, what are you looking for early in this game from both teams?
To see how the New York Red Bulls react to this atmosphere. Just to our left, the TIFO has just been rolled out by the LA Galaxy fans. Amazing job once again by this group. There's been excitement in and around this city for the last 2 days. We've been here. We're actually staying in the hotel of the families of the New York Red Bulls, and there's excitement there as well. I think there's also a little bit of trepidation because of how good this LA Galaxy side is, but this is a real opportunity with no Ricky Puig on the field for the LA Galaxy, for the Red Bulls to stamp their mark in that midfield, because I think that's where it's won today. If you're a Galaxy fan, the one thing you don't want to see is an early mistake, because if you do give up a goal to the Red Bulls early in this thing, Keith, you know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to try and lock it down for however long they have to. They're not a high-scoring team, but they have created some counter-attacking opportunities, which may go against what the LA Galaxy are trying to do.
We've got a good vantage point. A man right down in the heart of the action is Brian Dunseth, the other member of our broadcast team. Brian, what are you looking for? Now you've covered these teams a lot this year. What do you want to see early on from both?
Well, I think for the LA Galaxy, it's establishing the confidence and the rhythm as expected playing here at Dignity Health Sports Park, with also the understanding of what this is not without Ricky Puig pulling the strings and finding the rhythm within the chaos that at times LA Galaxy can be. For the New York Red Bulls, guys, there's no pressure. No one expected at the start of the playoffs for them to be in this situation. And I love John Tolkien's quote, "We respect them, but we're going to kick the ish out of them." That tells me psychologically they're up for this challenge, and they're going to see what the nerves look like and the pressure for Greg Vanney's side here in Los Angeles.
Interesting. I like the way he changed the words around to make it palatable for our listeners. Tony, what does that mean if you're on the opposition side? You know Ricky Puig is not going to play. Does that mean there's an element of not knowing exactly what you're going to face in terms of that Galaxy midfield?
Yeah, there certainly is, because no one's seen really Gaston Brugman from the start, right? You know what you're going to get in Surreal, guy for the LA Galaxy that sits in that number 6 spot, sits a little bit deeper in front of that back four. He's kind of the heartbeat of that midfield. That allows these the Pecks and the Paintsils and the Ovaliches to get forward. I think Gaston Brugman, because of the press, will sit a little bit closer to Cerrillo in that midfield on the defensive side of things. But again, we've asked both managers about the first 15 minutes, and it sounded as if they were both going to take this a little bit cautiously in the first 15 minutes. Who knows? As you mentioned, LA Galaxy came out against Minnesota United 27 seconds in, and they get a goal, and all of a sudden the game was flipped on its head. So that can happen as well. But I'll tell you what, this stadium is rocking right now. The LA Galaxy fans looking for number 6 in that trophy case.
Not an early goal against Minnesota. The man that scored it was Gabriel Peck. The man who assisted was the man not available today, Ricky Puig. Give me a key player for both sides today, Tony, in this game for you.
I think Cerrillo, and how in the midfield, of course, we're going to look at the attacking players, Peck and Paintstil, and I think we know what we're going to get out of them. Cerrillo for the LA Galaxy, I think, is vitally important to just give them a little bit of balance and make it look as close to possible to what it's looked like with Ricky Puig on the field. We know it's not going to look the same, but let the flow be as close to possible as what they're used to. For me, though, the matchup for the Red Bulls that they have to win is John Tolkin on the left-hand side. When we see him deep connected to that back three, then you know Gabriel Peck is getting the better of him down the left-hand side for the Red Bulls. I think the Peck-Tolkin matchup is the most important one in this game.
15th consecutive time in the playoffs for the Red Bulls. They're always at the dance. They just very rarely make it to the final song. Here they are, one game away from a potential first MLS Cup. LA Galaxy 5 times winners and back where they feel they belong. For so long they've been in the shadows of not just the rest of the league, but the team in this city as well, LAFC. It is the Galaxy who get us on the way in the all-white, attacking from left to right. Beautiful, sunny afternoon here in Carson. Immediately long ball forward looking towards Paintstil. That goes out of play for a throw-in on that far side for New York Red Bulls. He'll be in the red jerseys, black shorts and red socks. Throw taken forward, a flick on towards Van Zier. Good break on this far side immediately. Harper. Cameron Harper, who played his youth soccer not far from this stadium. And he gives away the free kick. A good early break there from the New York Red Bulls right wing back.
Yeah, and we saw Cam Harper get down that right-hand side for the Red Bulls and broke past the midfield into that back four. And Emi Garces, number 25 for the LA Galaxy, the right center back, got over to the left-hand side. And we saw his recovery speed. Greg Vanny has spoken to us about it here over the last couple weeks. We've seen it time and time again. Maybe the most crucial play of the game against the Seattle Sounders was Jordan Morris breaking in and presumably looked free, and all of a sudden Emi Garces makes a play. So his recovery speed against Lewis Morgan up top for the Red Bulls is going to be vitally important today.
John McCarthy, a couple of years ago, he was the hero for another side we may not mention on this broadcast for Galaxy fans' purposes. Here is Emi Garces you just talked about, and it's going to be a free kick given. Physical challenge in the middle of the centre circle. Red Bulls will have the free kick. Sean Neal is taking it, going back to the middle. Long ball forward. And Yoshida, what a season he's had. The Galaxy centre-back as he clears it forward. Dylan Nealis.
Well, early on here, the one thing that's kind of taken me back a little bit, the LA Galaxy high press 3 times down, 3 different sequences, and the Red Bulls no frills getting the ball over the top.
New York Red Bulls doesn't look like they're lining up how the official lineup came out. And more on that in a moment as the ball goes out of play for... It looks like Ayla is going to start in place of Andres Reyes. We don't know whether that was a pre-game injury. And that is interesting. That's a blow as well. The man who scored the winner against Orlando, and he's been pivotal in that back three, that new back three.
And not only in the back three, but also on attacking restarts as well, right? He's a danger. He got the goal against the Orlando side that made it 1-0. That was all they needed. But, yeah, we didn't see anything in the pregame that led us to believe that Reyes had gotten hurt.
Peck, lovely touch. Trying to play the ball out to that far left-hand side. The Galaxy attacking the south end of the stadium. Coronel, who's been in very good form Think back to his penalty heroics. Long ball, Lewis Morgan. You mentioned that recovery pace of Garces, and he got there again, but he's taken a knock. Morgan just clipping his ankle as he tried to clear that one. We're hearing Reyes had an illness, so real blow for him, real blow for the Red Bulls.
Red Bulls here not trying to build through the midfield. The minute they get pressured, ball over the top, trying to exploit Lewis Morgan's speed. The one thing, though, it does do is eliminate Emil Forsberg when you play those balls on. They want to get the ball to his feet as much as possible. He's been the catalyst in that period of the season, Keith, where from Leagues Cup on to the end of the season, they had only won 2 games of 20 and 3 of 18 in the league, corresponded with Emil Forsberg being out of the lineup.
Long ball again played forward. Maybe going to be a theme today. Galaxy pushing forward when Red Bulls get it. They bypass that midfield area. Ball back with John McCarthy.
Tony and Keith, one of the things I've been trying to suss out is how the LA Galaxy is lining up without Ricky Puig, and it seems as it's tilted with Brugman playing a little bit higher on that left-hand side, Delgado as high as possible. But interesting on the press, immediacy of trying to close down both Stroud and Edelman and minimize the pivot, turn, and playing through the lines that the New York Red Bulls have seen in the direct play early in this match.
It's interesting, Donny. I don't remember seeing this midfield three ever play together before. So I wonder if that familiarity is going to be an issue here early on for the Galaxy.
Yeah, Keith, to your point, usually we're seeing Diego Fagundes more in that hybrid of a number 10 role as opposed to Delgado so high up on this right-hand side.
Tolkien trying to break down this left foot. The Red Bulls goes into the middle of midfield. Peter Stroud. Ball out to that right-hand side. Dylan Neal is trying to give a little bit of width. Harper. A run forward from Stroud. You've got Van Zier near side for him. Morgan the other side. Here's Paintsel trying to go the other way, and he knocks it beyond the defender. And this is going to be an early talking to here. Dylan Nealis certainly knew what he was doing, stopping that break.
No doubt about it. He'll be lucky here not to get away with just the talking man, not to receive a yellow card here. And of course, we see the game officiated a little bit differently, but Paintsel had the ball about midfield, opposite side of us. He had pushed it past Dylan Nealis, and Nealis just stuck a hip out and took Paintsel down, who's just getting up at the moment here.
I think both coaches watch for that, don't they, Tony, where you see what the reaction of the referee, if it is a card, maybe for Galaxy you feel a little bit more comfortable knowing. Yeah, they will get punished, but for Red Bulls, physical start.
And Dunny, you and I talk about this all the time here. If you're Paintsel, the next thing you got to do is run right at Dylan Nealis one more time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Tony. That first touch, the quickness in terms of pivoting and just looking to push it past, almost Kobe Jones-esque, if you will, back in the day where they recognized isolate one-on-one, ton of space in and behind. And in possession, you can see what the idea is in the buildup with Cam Harper, trying to stay as high as possible. But the moment that ball turns over, New York Red Bulls seemingly vulnerable early in this match.
And Joseph Paintsel playing on that left. He started the season on the right. I guess the one issue for the Galaxy is both he and Paintsel, or Paintsel and Peck, both prefer the right-hand side. And he has been very effective in the playoffs. Ball back with John McCarthy. Again, Garces offering an option to the right. McCarthy looking a little bit longer here towards Gabriel Peck. And Tolkien happy to see that go out of play.
And Greg Vanney was not happy with John McCarthy playing the ball long to Peck, who's probably not the guy you want to start winning balls in the air. John Tolkien's won 2 of those now. Greg Vanney immediately got out of his chair just below us here, threw his arms up in the air. He'd like to see it go to Joveljic, maybe go to Paintsel against Dylan Nealis, but Peck is probably not the preferred choice in the air.
One ball, Edelman gets in position. Peck, first chance we've really seen to get him on the ball. Nelson, who's won that left back spot over the course of the second half of the season, maybe more defensive minded than Aude. Ball now wide for Paintsel. Paintsel forcing Harper back, gets the ball in time for Brugman and just couldn't corral it in. He was inside the penalty area in that advanced position Dunny talked about. Tony, first opportunity.
Yeah, Keith, you can see how worried this Red Bull side is with Paintsel. As he got the ball wide, he was about 30 yards from goal. All of a sudden, he got double-teamed, read the double team, split a pass into the box to Gaston Brugman. who couldn't control it. And this is what you want to avoid here, a turnover by the Galaxy in the midfield with Mark Delgado breaking it up immediately.
Yeah, he was the one that gave it away. He was the one that won it back. So good play from him. Man who started his career in this stadium with Chivas USA. Remember them?
They're legendary in our league. If you've got that on your resume, you've done well.
Tony, I don't think you know what the word legendary is if that's the word you just used.
Ball back with Mayashida.
Guys, back to that point with Brugman pushing forward. Historically, he's played more as the pivot six, the deep-lying, destructive midfielder. But with Cerrillo having the season he's having, it's interesting to understand where Brugman's starting position and ending position is. More of a hybrid of an eight.
There's a break going in behind. Peitzel! And the goalkeeper couldn't keep it out. Joseph Peitzel! Electric pace! And LA Galaxy have that all-important opening goal.
Well, Keith, you and I just talked about feeding Peitzel. They think they can get in behind this New York Red Bulls defense. And how about the pass of Gaston Brugman? Dunny's been talking about it in that left channel trying to get forward. He split the entire defense with a ball in behind this back three. Peitzel on with the run. Slips it underneath Carlos Coronel, who got a piece of it, slipped underneath his arm. The Galaxy go up 1-0 early here, 9 minutes into this one. But how about the pass from Gaston Brugman? This play started with a little build-up at midfield, a little combination between Brugman and Cerrillo, and then a simple touch. All Peitzel had to do was run onto it. He didn't need a second touch, and he buried it.
I got to ask you, Tony, because the goalkeeper gets strong purchase on it as it goes towards the goal. Should he have kept it out?
Yeah, it's one of those you want to keep out, there's no doubt, but it's really difficult when you hit it in and around the goalkeeper's feet because it's hard to get down. He got down as quickly as he could to his left-hand side. It looked like it hit his arm and then underneath his body a bit and trickled into the back of the net. Nonetheless, I look at that pass from Gaston Brugman, the guy who is filling in for Ricky Puig, all of a sudden plays dividends.
And the jersey held up, honouring the teammate who cannot play in this game. He would have been proud of that pass, Ricky Puig.
That's a Ricky Puig type pass, right? And that's probably comes from seeing him do it day in and day out in training, and everybody's trying to do it. And of course, you don't want to change the runs if you're Peck or Peitzel or Joveljic, so you're still making those same runs, and now you get a ball played in like that. Exquisite from Gaston Brugman.
Tony, we were talking about what John Tolkien had to do against Gabriel Peck, and maybe the focus should have been about Peitzel and this man, Dylan Nilis, because right now, if you're an outside marking back in this back three, understanding that Peitzel's ability to expose the space and the psychology of already losing a couple battles, this could be a long night for the right side in number 12.
11 minutes in here. MLS Cup 2024, Dignity Health Sports Park. Keith Costigan, Tony Miola, Brian Dunseth on the call, and LA Galaxy have that all-important opening goal. They lead by a goal to nil. Gaston Brugman with the assist. Joseph Peitzel, one of the killer P's, getting on the score sheet. And they're coming forward again here. Joveljic, not far away.
Joveljic about 2 yards outside the box on Carlos Coronel's left side, and the defense just kept retreating, and he said, let me have a go. Hit it to the far post. Just went over about 2 or 3 feet. Dunny had a pretty good view of that one, I'm sure, but he hit that one. That had a little knuckle on it and with a little bit of venom.
Yeah, Tony, he hit it flat. He did have the run of Gabriel Peck, who was a bit frustrated that he didn't have the little slip pass in behind. But keep an eye on Marky Delgado. We talked to him yesterday for not only our pregame and postgame coverage, but for this week for SiriusXM, and talking about his experience with Toronto FC. Right now, his press has been exquisite in the first 13 minutes in that midfield.
Yamane taking that ball down, but a chance for Morgan to break down this New York left-hand side. Good, strong challenge again. Good recovery pace again from Emi Garces.
Emi Garces was about 5 yards behind Lewis Morgan when that ball was headed in behind the back four of the Galaxy. He came from the middle of the field and was able to ride it out and earn a goal kick here, but you saw that recovery speed.
Guys, is it just me, but all three of us have covered the LA Galaxy quite extensively this season. For all the talk about Ricky Puig, for all the talk about Marco Royce midseason acquisition, Garces might be the true hero when it's all said and done, because he has absolutely solidified this defense with Caceres going down with the Achilles issue and Jalen Neal kind of lack of form.
And well, we'll get back to that moment, because Joveljic running right down the middle again. Edge of the penalty area, still going. A flick! It's in! Galaxy have a second! Right down the heart of that New York Red Bulls defensive group. Joveljic with the deftest of touches. matches, and the Galaxy have doubled the lead.
Well, this is Route 1 football from the LA Galaxy. It comes from a goal kick to our left-hand side from John McCarthy. Gets knocked down, and a great ball played in by Mark Delgado. Sends Joveljic, who was about 45 yards from goal. And just like the last play, when he dribbled into the back three of the New York Red Bulls, they retreated. He ends up about 12 yards from goal, and a toe poke past Carlos Coronel makes it 2-0. He did have the run of Joseph Paintsil on the left-hand side, decided to go by himself. And Dunny, you were just talking about Garces as one of the unsung heroes. How about Joveljic, a guy who didn't even think he was going to be here, as he's right below us in front of the LA Galaxy bench, holding up once again the Ricky Pooch number 10 jersey. Joveljic has been one of the keys to this Galaxy side, Dunny, the entire season.
Well, go back the last couple of years, Joveljic with really spot start opportunities, mainly an impact sub, coming off the bench with Chicharito being a part of the LA Galaxy. Greg Vanney telling us we just needed the right player profile on the wings to turn him from a 10-goal scorer a year to a 20-goal scorer a year. By the way, I know we're trying to explain the technical part of that finish, but please find that finish online, because that was extraordinary from Joveljic.
And he's going forward again here. Another long ball forward. New York Red Bulls are rattled. Defensively, we saw the inquest after the goal. Right down the heart of that back three, where we thought they were at their strongest. Maybe missing that key figure, Andres Reyes.
And a lot of times, Keith, we don't see the speed of the LA Galaxy because it's about getting the ball to Ricky Pooch, right? Having him get as many touches on the ball and then eventually springing something. Here it's been direct from the LA Galaxy. We're seeing Peck, we're seeing Joveljic, who's showing us some speed, and of course Joseph Paintsil down that left-hand side will run in behind the defense. This is what the Red Bulls didn't want. Not only going down 1-0. When you're down 1-0, maybe you don't change things, right? Maybe you just go about your business. But now you got to get yourself back into the game. They cannot go into this dressing room at halftime, and they got a long way to go. Another 30 minutes plus here for the New York Red Bulls. They've got to stop the bleeding right now, or they're going to be a heap of trouble.
And a good header from that goal kick from Coronel by Garces. New York in possession, about midway through their own half of the field, but just trying to keep the ball, I think, to just drop the tempo a little bit inside the stadium.
Yeah, they're trying to quiet this crowd down. I think it's going to be really difficult. They're feeling it in this stadium right now. And what a start from the LA Galaxy.
Tolkien playing it back foot. Sean Nealis. Ayla, who's been in the middle of that back three and struggled so far, it has to be said.
You talked about the miss of Reyes going down with the illness here. That's a massive, massive blow for the Red Bulls.
Sean Nealis stepping into the opposition half. Tolkien goes back, and the Red Bulls were in the Galaxy half for a moment. Now go back into their own half as the press comes, and the press is good. Cerrillo finds Delgado. Cerrillo with the run. Cerrillo breaking from that number 6 position. Right in the corner here on this right-hand side, and he does well. Didn't really have anywhere to go, knocks it off, Ayla, and wins the throw-in.
Yeah, it's the Galaxy here with the better of the two presses for both these sides, and it's been in the middle third of the field. They've picked off a couple balls and immediately getting forward, so the Red Bulls getting a dose of their own medicine right now by a really good Galaxy side that's feeling it at the moment.
Yamane, good challenge from Tolkien. It's going to be another throw-in on this near side for the LA Galaxy. Yamane into the penalty area. Joveljic surrounded by 3 and still manages to win a corner.
Dunny, I don't know if you can see body language down there, but from up here in the booth, it looks like the Red Bulls are trying to go into every tackle with the intensity that we've seen all year, and the Galaxy are just brushing tackles off as if nothing's really happening at the moment, and I think it's frustrating the Red Bulls.
Tony, I think they're almost flabbergasted with the start in this first 18 minutes. Because the inability to play through the front 5 press of the Galaxy is maybe something they haven't seen for a long time.
It's a corner for the Galaxy. They weren't very good in these situations this year. And that one cleared rather easily. Gaston Brugman with the delivery. That doesn't beat the near post man. He gets it back, plays a little bit in behind. Delgado into the penalty area. And Sean Nealis comes across to make the interception. Edelman. I don't think we've said the name of Forsberg yet. Garces, who's having a monster game, again winning the ball back.
Breaks up another play, and he was, Keith, 2 yards from the end line here because he was up forward for a corner kick. He recovers 40 yards and makes a play.
Gaston Brugman coming out to this Galaxy right-hand side. back central for Yamane. Those two interchange. We've seen Miki Yamane going as a hybrid central midfielder at times this season. Yoshida, now the press, attempted press from the Red Bulls coming. Yoshida, Nelson, somehow he gets out of it. Red Bulls miles off it right now. Nelson playing it into space. Paintel making up the ground. And Paintel wins the challenge. 50-50 with Dylan Nealis. And he's won another free kick. And this might be another talking to. This matchup has been all Joseph Paintel.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Sandro Schwartz, the manager for the New York Red Bulls, is going to have to figure something out, because right now they've been able to isolate Joseph Paintel with Dylan Nealis, and as you said, Keith, it's one-way traffic at the moment, with Paintel picking up a foul here just about 4 yards outside the box on the Red Bulls' right-hand side. I'd say about 8 or 9 yards off the end line here.
Tony, I'm just wondering about the psychology of losing Reyes before kickoff and what that cover looks like, because that's the third or fourth time we've seen him isolated 1v1 with no help back shoulder.
And another set piece to deal with there. Gaston Brugman. Unless they look for a little pullback towards the edge of the box here. Nelson, who did really well on the build-up to that one. The left back is in position. He's got a playoff goal already. Sorio on the far side. Brugman whips it towards goal.
Wow.
I think it came off a Red Bull head.
I think it was
the
Edelman.
crossbar and out of play.
I think it was Edelman at that near post, just trying to get something on it, as he had Joveljic in his sight. Flicked it back over onto the crossbar and out for another corner kick. Gaston Brugman has been really dangerous on restarts so far.
The atmosphere inside this stadium is electric. Dignity Health Sports Park reborn this season. And the issues in the front office last year, they are all forgotten about now. The Galaxy rampant. 20 minutes in and already looking for a third goal. Brugman, and this time the referee's whistle will save the Red Bulls. Yoshida was challenging at that near post area and just overzealous in the challenge, gives away the free kick.
Yeah, Yoshida just a little anxious there. Looks like he clipped Stroud. Yoshida on his way back having a word with the referee, Guido Gonzalez, that he thought Stroud had taken him down.
Tony, that's exactly what happened. Stroud bundled into Yoshida. Yoshida bundles into Nealis, and Yoshida's called for the foul.
Sean Nealis heading that ball towards the halfway line again. Just the effort for the Red Bulls to get to the halfway line. Lewis Morgan now going down the Red Bulls left-hand side. Good help again by Yamane. A lovely back heel from Mark Delgado. Garces playing it long. Elu very physical in the challenge on Joveljic. No free kick, and Red Bulls have possession again, just inside their half of the field.
Keith, there was a touch in that last sequence from Emil Forsberg. I'm not sure you called his name so far the entire match.
Elu trying to break from that middle of the back three roll. Tolkien. Haven't really said Gabriel Peck either, by the way.
Yeah,
he hasn't had to be involved yet.
Been very left-sided here for the Galaxy as they go once again.
Paintel. Brugman making the run forward again. Paintel coming inside. Joveljic. The ball back into midfield. Yamane coming forward. He's got Peck just ahead of him. Just feeds the ball to the Brazilian. Back for Yamane. Good spell of possession here for the Galaxy. Sorio. Back for Sorio. Retreats
Galaxy
towards the halfway line.
Here, Keith. They look confident with the ball, knocking around, moving into space, finding little pockets in between this press here.
Yeah, Tony, that midfield three for the LA Galaxy is absolutely eating up New York Red Bulls in the midfield third.
John McCarthy taking his time. Morgan trying to decide whether he wants to go press the goalkeeper. He does now, and McCarthy again will go a little bit more direct. Joveljic gets a little touch on it ahead of Elu, who's looked a little bit out of sorts, the centre-back. Perhaps getting that late notice that he's going to start.
Yeah, it's a guy who's come on as a substitute a bunch of times here for the Red Bulls, but clearly the biggest moment for him, and it looks like they've made a little change in the back as Isla's going to the left-hand side. Sean Nealis has now become the center back right in the middle of the field, so that Reyes position, if you will, and his brother Dylan Nealis down that right-hand side.
You just wonder, Elu, if he is left 1v1 with Gabriel Peck, how he'll deal with that.
Well, I wonder if, as you mentioned, there's not been a lot of Gabriel Peck, and they're saying, hey, maybe we'll get him to a side that's not so active right now.
Delgado, this is the side that is active. Paintel again trying to get in behind. Again, he's got the legs beyond Nealis. Neal's back in defensive position now, inside the penalty area. Paintsel trying to create a yard. Back outside the penalty area, and not a good pass. He played a square one towards Peck, but the Galaxy win it right back.
And the Red Bull give it right back to the Galaxy here. Paintsel has been just a handful right now for the Red Bulls. They're going to have to sort something out. Maybe go to a back four. Sandro Schwartz just taking a seat on. He took a seat and got right back up, so he thought of something down below us.
And a rare giveaway. Garces, Forsberg trying to play the ball in behind Garces. Morgan in a foot race and only one winner. Back to McCarthy.
My Lord, the recovery speed from Garces in the back for the LA Galaxy is incredible.
Greg Vanny told us that the players laugh about it in training because he has so much ground to make up at times.
They say he sometimes starts a fire but puts his own fire out. I think it's a term that he used.
He gets bored sometimes. Joveljic will flick back for Gaston Brugman.
There's not even a close foot race here right now in the back.
John Nelson right at the halfway line. Sorillo cemented himself as that holding midfielder for the Galaxy. Yamane coming down this right-hand side. Peck. Joveljic. Peck, and it was a real physical confrontation. Elu just blocked the run of Gabriel Peck. Sorillo wins it back. Again, the Red Bulls not clearing their own half of the field. Yamane going towards the edge of the penalty area. Now here's Peck. Little nutmeg on Tolkien. Peck goes for goal. Coronel with a big save. It was the most difficult of angles. And it's still not cleared. And it's just wide.
Wow, this is a
Red Bull
mess.
Edelman is furious at his goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a mess right now for the New York Red Bulls. Dunny, that's right down in front of you. And I imagine they're having a go at each other because it's just there was one guy in the box. That was Gabriel Peck. And the ball goes up in the air after a Coronel save. And they couldn't figure out how to clear this one.
Yeah, it was Edelman. He spun it off the outside of his right boot as he was trying to clear it with laces. Cornell comes flying off his line, runs into his own player. Ball spills. Referee would have allowed that to be a goal had it gone inside the post. Right now, this back line is all over the place. And credit to the LA Galaxy. Not just the first ball, but the second ball. They have dominated, winning that battle against.
And here comes the press again. And Coronel, unsure of himself. That one was led by Gaston Brugman. Peck just out of play. Brugman with the ability to break from midfield. Coronel's not look comfortable as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt. This back line here and Carlos Coronel, they look a little bit flustered at the moment. Understandable. They're under a lot of pressure, but as I mentioned earlier, they're going to have to stop the bleeding here, especially down the side of Paintsel.
Well, Tony, the effort to stop the bleeding is one thing, but they've got to be calm, cool, collected, and inventive of trying to play out of the back. Every time they do win the ball, they immediately aren't finding the space to play through this press from the LA Galaxy.
But Dunny, when you're a pressing team, there's nothing calm about the way that you want to play, right? You just want to go frantic, pick up the pace of the game. Pick up the pace on the defensive side.
Yeah, and tone, Mitch, means at times be a little bit more direct like we saw in the opening sequences, up and over the top.
Forsberg dropping into his own half of the field now to get it, getting some touches.
He's almost in the back four just to get his foot on the ball a little bit because he really is the catalyst for this side, but he hasn't seen it.
Tolkien again on this New York Red Bulls left. Elu, who's walking in the opposition half of the field. No one really pressuring him. I don't think they're worried about him in possession. Tolkien up against Peck. Just a lull in terms of the tempo for a moment here from the Galaxy, allowing Red Bulls to just get a foothold in terms of the possession in the Galaxy half. Nealis, as you mentioned, Tony in the middle of that back three now. Forsberg. Ayler just to the left here. Tolkien. No ball in behind for Van Zier, another player we haven't seen much of. That is out of Garces. I think that's going to be a throw-in. Right on the line between corner and throw. Might be a corner.
Yeah, it looks like a corner kick here, and this is one area of the field. If you remember, from this side, Galaxy defending their right-sided corner kick. First 7 games of the year, they gave up 5 goals from this position here. They haven't been great on defensive restarts, so an important moment here for the Red Bulls.
Forsberg. Whipped in delivery. Galaxy get the first head to it, not fully cleared. And a chance, Yoshida, acrobatic. Nealis! Oh, it's a super finish from the centre-back. He couldn't have hit that one any better on the volley. And Sean Nealis has given the Red Bulls a lifeline. They are right back in this this one.
They really are here, and we talked about it. It's not been a strong suit for the LA Galaxy. Maybe one of those things that hasn't been the real focus because of how attack-minded they are. And Greg Vanney talked about it. They need to get better at defensive restarts, and the New York Red Bulls have now punished them 28 minutes into this one and gotten themselves back in when the run of play was completely for the LA Galaxy.
That finish, he took it on his chest, allowed it to come down, and just stroked the volley into the roof of the net. Yoshida throwing himself about in there. I don't think he helped himself defensively. But you mentioned it in the build-up, Tony. The issues at set pieces. They thought they'd cured them, but they've come back to haunt them again. And Neelis, what a time to get your first goal of the season.
And we all know, right, when you're not playing well or you're undermanned, if you will, restarts are such an important part of the game. It gets you in game, and it can also kill you on the other side. And Dunny, it sometimes takes moments like that just to, you talked about trying to catch your breath, right? That's one of those moments that will allow you to do that. And if you're the Galaxy, you're probably feeling like there's no way that this is a 2-1 match that we're in, but here we are, 2-1, Red Bulls back in it.
Yeah, I just wonder what the regret will be for Greg Vanney and the LA Galaxy for allowing the simple possession and a little bit of confidence from the New York Red Bulls.
And more confidence here, Yoshida clearing towards Joveljic, Delgado.
To your guys' point about set piece difficulty for the LA Galaxy, even going back to that game up in Seattle a few months ago where they gave up 2 goals in the first 10 minutes off corners. Greg Vanney has acknowledged this is one of the most difficult aspects for the Galaxy to focus on is responsibility, zonal marking, and that hybrid of understanding how to defend set pieces.
We're coming up on 30 minutes in here. Sirius XMFC's coverage of MLS Cup 2024. Keith Costigan, Tony Miola, and Brian Dunseth with you. Feels like a lot longer than 30 minutes. We've had so much to talk about so far.
We can do this all night. Let them keep going.
Good sweeping ball out to that right-hand side for Harper. Chance to go at the fullback. Harper whipping one in, and he almost caught McCarthy at that near post. I think it was a cross, ended up being a shot on goal, and McCarthy to the rescue.
Yeah,
and another corner coming.
Yeah, I don't know if it was deflected, hard to see from our angle here, but it almost did catch McCarthy at that near post. And now, once again, they've got to defend another corner kick, and this time it'll be John Tolkien down that far right side, taking it with an in-swinger. And we saw last week against the Orlando side, the ball he played into Reyes at the back post. This is a guy that can hit restarts with the best of them in Major League Soccer. If you're the Red Bulls, you're probably a little anxious here to get an opportunity at goal.
You saw that in-swinging delivery that Reyes got on the end of against Orlando. This one very lofted all the way towards the far post. Morgan trying to keep it back in play, and I think Yamane inexplicably got a touch on that right on the line and has given away another corner.
Yeah, and it looked like Sean Nealis maybe pushed Yamane just at the last moment here. Referee Guido Gonzalez didn't really see it. Ends up taking a mistouch. Now Forsberg here.
Going to be an in-swinger on this side as well.
Keep an eye on the sun and the goalkeeper's eyes, guys.
It's been awkward. Maybe that was the issue last time as well, Dunny, from this side. Forsberg maybe trying to get in the line of that viewpoint towards that area. Good header this time from Yoshida, but it is out of play again. And another corner. Good pressure here.
Yoshida from the 6-yard line having to go back to about the 2-yard line to clear that one. So John McCarthy clearly not getting a quick read on that initial corner from Forsberg.
Forsberg with another chance, and now the referee Guido Gonzalez having a word. Neelis, the goal scorer, it looked like he made contact with Yoshida there. They were both fighting each other. See what Guido Gonzalez decides here.
Yeah, Tony, it's odd though, right? This is a way for the New York Red Bulls to manufacture some type of momentum,
energy
in their favor, right? Be combative, find the dark arts, little Dunsethery, and then figure out a way to now put the LA Galaxy on their heels.
Do you feel a momentum shift in the game?
Really do. I mean, you hear the crowd now has gotten quiet. I think they understand the Galaxy have not been good on restarts. Guido Gonzalez just talking to Sean Nealis now will push Yoshida down.
Guys, everybody in this stadium outside of the supporters section are sitting down. That was not the case when it was 2-0.
And I'm going to be nervous, if you're a Galaxy fan in particular, at another set piece incoming. They've looked vulnerable. They've looked nervy. Forsberg delivered in again. Headed clear. Edelman sets up for him, tries to go for goal. Come for a moment, there might be a counter-attack on where Red Bulls win it back. Harper on that right-hand side. He crosses into the area. Plenty of bodies in there. Ooh. And what a chance. Elu find himself Free inside the 6. Stroud, I think, in fact.
Oh, what an opportunity here for the Red Bulls. As the ball came out, the Red Bulls won it again, and they had those big bodies keep forward in the box, so Harper swung that ball in, and what an opportunity for the Red Bulls.
Taylor with the final chance, right at the goalkeeper. Well, they've come to life. Gabriel Peck on this Galaxy right-hand side, trying to come inside. Edelman goes towards him, but he gets the ball off his feet quickly enough. And Delgado occupying now that right wing position. Yamane going more central. They do this a lot, the Galaxy, flooding this right zone. Delgado, Yamane, still not leaving this area of the field. Sorillo back into their own half of the field with Garces. That's better pressure from the Red Bulls. All the way back to John McCarthy.
They looked a little bit more organized there, even with the good movement from the LA Galaxy.
Not a good clearance from McCarthy, and Forsberg, good pressure again. And it's going to be Galaxy ball, but you just sense the confidence in the Red Bulls players rising.
Yeah, no doubt. They've gotten forward a few times here in the end of this first half. They've gotten the restarts. They've been dangerous on all of them. Of course, they picked up their goal.
Oh,
Peck
lovely.
2 nutmegs.
Peck got a nutmeg on Tolkien, and then Sorillo
got to see a yellow card here.
Elu, that was so physical. Body checked Peck. He picks up the yellow card from Guido Gonzalez. He can have no complaints.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Guido Gonzalez, as much as he's left the yellow cards in his pocket here, I think had no choice. Elu just laid a shoulder into Peck. I think there may have been a little bit of frustration with the 2 megs. Elu here just a little anxious. Now we'll have to deal with Peck for about an hour here remaining in this match on a yellow card.
I wonder, will they revisit that thought of having him out wide of the back 3?
Yeah, because you're going to isolate him a little bit more than you want to see him isolated against Peck. And Peck's real first contribution to this match, right? Getting at Elu, who's now on the left.
Gaston Brugman, free kick about 15 yards into the Red Bulls half of the field on that right wing. Ball towards Yoshida. Yoshida wins it, but Lewis Morgan gets on the rebound. Harper will complete the clearance towards halfway. Van Zier underneath it. Good touch from Van Zier. Forsberg. Tolkien trying to play him forward quickly, but great tracking back in from Gabriel Peck. Good block, out of play, throw in New York Red Bulls.
You know, and we talk about this LA Galaxy side all the time, and when we look at it, we talk about the attacking part of the field and how good and how efficient they are and how they can score goals. 16 goals in 4 matches in the playoffs that they scored. We sometimes don't give them enough credit for their work rate in the middle of the field, and that started by Sorillo, and you put Brugman in there, who's a guy in general throughout his entire career has had that work rate. They do a really good job of getting around the field and breaking plays up.
Hey, look. They're going in for Tolkien, coming back for Edelman. That press doesn't have the snap it had in the first 20 minutes from the Galaxy. Edelman getting on the ball a lot easier now. Nealis just stepping forward. The man who got that all-important goal. He's right at the halfway line right now in possession. And that goal just gave Red Bulls hope. Ball comes back for Elu. 2 runners down the middle. Morgan, one of them. Well won. Peck going central. Again, he goes for the nutmeg. Loses out to Stroud. Morgan. Harper. He's getting more space on that right-hand side. Cameron Harper trying to play Van Zier in, but easily read, easily dealt with by Nelson. Now the long ball coming the other way. A little bit of transition. We haven't seen this in a few minutes. Paintsel trying to get in behind, and he was trying to slip the ball into the run of Dejan Joveljic. Red Bulls lucky on that one.
How about the ball out of the back? I believe it was Sorillo who bent it around this back 3 in between the 2 Nealis brothers. Clearly looking for Paintsel to get in behind this back 3.
Tony, right there is the perfect example, I think, why they made that switch of putting Sean Nealis off the left shoulder of Dylan Nealis. It's the first time we've seen absolute cover on the number 12 right-sided center back in those transition moments with Paintsel. He's loving the isolation on that left-hand side.
And maybe, Dunny, one of the reasons why we've seen a little bit less of Joseph Paintsel over the last 15 minutes after that electric start.
Oh, and Keith, during the yellow card that was shown a few minutes ago, there was a significant conversation between Yoshida, Garces, and Sorillo. Really, really adamant, trying to sort out what obviously they felt was an issue in these last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and there was a break on there for the Red Bulls. Forsberg was going forward. He got clipped by Delgado. He's picked up a yellow card.
Yeah, a little bit surprised that this was given a yellow card, but I think with a little bit of green in front of Emil Forsberg, Mark Delgado made a good recovery run, clips what looked like the back of his heel here. There was cover, and immediately Guido Gonzalez going to his pocket for Mark Delgado.
A free kick for the Red Bulls, about 15 yards into the Galaxy half of the field. You wonder, with the success from corner kicks, is this one you say, look, let's just get it in the penalty area again?
No doubt about it. They've wreaked havoc on all of these restarts. It's going to be John Tolkien on the far side from us bending this in. Now, it's always a little bit more difficult when you're central on the field, so you got to create some type of angle.
Morgan's gone all the way to this left-hand side, the ball all the way through, and really poor delivery from his standards, McCarthy. And McCarthy has gone very early, very long. That one goes all the way through to Coronel. That was wasted possession from the Galaxy.
Yeah, and in general, you don't mind trying to spring a guy 1v1, but Peck was about 10 yards behind this back. Well, there were two guys back right from the restart. So he's really never going to catch that ball, and then you hit it a little bit longer, give it right back to the Red Bulls.
Dylan Nealis settled down in the game after those nervy early moments. Not bad having your brother alongside you.
Yeah, and a little more experienced player alongside you that can maybe talk you through a couple of those moments, put you in a better position, and then you know you're going to have some cover.
Taylor looking for the run of Harper. Nelson comes across. It's been a good battle, that. Harper, a couple of times he's tried to cross early. That time Nelson brought in for his defensive prowess, just closed down before he could get on the ball.
Yeah, Keith, it leads me to believe as much as Cam Harper has gotten forward with the success that the Galaxy have had on the left-hand side, what does Sandro Schwartz do in that dressing room at halftime to maybe use Cam Harper to cover a little bit more defensively?
Yeah, Tony, if I'm the LA Galaxy, it's a full conversation of let's shift the ball to Ayla, the number 3 for the New York Red Bulls on this left-hand side. Surprise starter with Reyes going out right before kickoff. On this left-hand side, they've already switched him once. He is extremely uncomfortable in simple possession and hesitant to make the right decision with the ball.
Yeah, they've got to get Peck a little bit more involved in this match. It's been all Joseph Paintsil on that left-hand side. Can they balance it out just a little bit more?
Peck in possession inside the New York Red Bulls half of the field. He's dribbled all the way back to Garces. Garces looked like he was going back to his goalkeeper. Instead, he plays it forward again. Tolkien, been a much more scrappy affair since Red Bulls got a goal back. Yamane battling with Tolkien. I'd say a much more Red Bull style game. But Peck trying to open things up, going the other way. Good cover, good run across, and
wow.
Stroud with a strong challenge.
If this doesn't result in a yellow card here, Stroud, this is a really tough tackle. And
Tony, he's actually gone 2 feet, but in front of the ball. He's gone nowhere near Gabriel Peck. He's honestly tried to anticipate what Gabriel Peck's next touch is going to be, and Stroud goes completely in front of the ball. He missed any type of touch on Gabriel Peck, but John Tolkien was unhappy with Guido Gonzalez Jr.
And he's having
a lot of verbals, and he got a big warning from the referee.
Yeah, and seeing it on our monitor here, he did get in front of the ball. Peck actually ran into him with his heel, although still a bit dangerous.
Yeah, I think it looked a lot worse, didn't it, initially? Completely missed everything.
I think because Peck looked like he was trying to make a move at that point and pull it back, and then the tackle comes, and his body spun at that moment. But now Gaston Brugman has been outstanding on these restarts, about 25 yards off the end line on the right-hand side for the Galaxy.
Yeah, that nice angle for that curling ball that almost entices the goalkeeper off his line. It is exactly that. And Tolkien taking no chances. Didn't know he had more time. He knocks it out of play. Galaxy will have a corner.
Yeah, even knocking out of play is one thing. Can you give it for a throw-in down the far side? Now you give up another restart. Gaston Brugman's going to jog across the field, Dunny.
Exactly, Tone. He's got to push that out for a throw. You cannot, in a game like this, give up an unnecessary corner to the Galaxy.
And the Galaxy, by the way, as we edge towards halftime, 42.5 minutes in, 11-0 when leading at the breaking games. And they get to the break in a couple of minutes. Right now they lead. Looking to add to that on a set-piece opportunity. Brugman. Again, he just mishits that one. Almost looked like he kicked the ground. The Galaxy have it back. Nelson back in for Brugman. Brugman, little nutmeg again. Brugman tries to get it across, and it's intercepted. And then cleared by Nealis. Nelson, Paintsel, cross towards that far post area. Tolkien this time lets it run out of play, and it'll be a New York Red Bulls goal kick.
And Yoshida, the captain who was trying to get on the end of that one, had stayed forward after the corner kick. They immediately won it back. That was the target for Paintsel. He cut it onto his right foot, tried to swing it to that back post.
And the Red Bulls, that back three, just walking their way out. The Galaxy not really trying to press it, as we can see, although Joveljic changes that. Now Paintsel does the same. Edelman, good play from the Red Bulls, just playing away from that pressure. Harper looking a little bit more direct. Yoshida just seems to have the beating of both Van Zier and Morgan in those situations.
But you mentioned it, that was really good patience by the Red Bulls to build out of that pressure from the LA Galaxy.
Tony, I know it's not a big thing, but Gabriel Peck's doing a fantastic job taking away the external pass to John Tolkien in the build out of the back for the Red Bulls.
I think on that, Tony, you talk to anybody around the Galaxy, Peck's goals, assists, but they love that about him as well. His ability to do the other little things that make you a complete player.
That soccer IQ, right, we call just cutting off those little angles, making sure that an entry pass can't be played in.
Well, based on, guys, I'm watching Peck and Yamane off his back shoulder as the right back. Every time Peck chooses an angle, that determines where Yamane's next step is through. And we haven't seen a lot of John Tolkien on this left-hand side as opposed to what we're used to seeing him bombing up and down with very little lactic acid in his legs.
Yeah, they've done a good job of flooding that area. Sean Nealis, what a magic moment for him to get that goal for the Red Bulls, to get them back in this game. Galaxy still leading, but less comfortable since that goal. Little ball, Garces up against Van Zier. Garces just knocks him to the side like he isn't even there.
Really amazing, the recovery speed. I wonder if you have to run at Yoshida maybe a little bit more than you do Emi Garces.
We're going to have a minimum of 3 additional minutes here at the end of a fast-paced, breathtaking first 45 at Dignity Health Sports Park.
I wonder if at halftime, if you're Sandro Sports, you just look at your group, Keith, and say, okay, did you get it out of you? Are you okay now? Because when they've settled down the last 10 minutes, they've looked okay. But they took a gut punch in this one, and they didn't really react after the 9th minute of this game when Joseph Paintsel got in behind the defense. They seem to be settled in just a bit more at the moment.
Yamane with a nice flick. Peck on the halfway line, and Elu staying right with him. Yamane going central again. Good football. Ball played in. Attempted ball for Joveljic. Intercepted. Brugman now a little bit deeper. They've interchanged that well. Nelson towards the edge of the penalty area. Out wide on that left-hand side for Joseph Paintsel, in line with the edge of the box. He comes back for Delgado in about 15 yards of space. Now he's closed down by Stroud. Back for Nelson. 1 minute of stoppage time played. I always worry about finals if they are going to deliver. Sometimes they can be cagey affairs. Not today.
No, this one's been good. No doubt about it. Up and down, exactly what we expected from both of these sides.
Oh, lovely football here. Patient build-up, and now Yamane on this right. Chance to cross. 3 in the area. Delivered in! And that hit is right at Coronel. Gabriel Peck had gone central. Off his chest. Half volley. Good save for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and how about the ball in from Yamane? Joveljic, Peck making runs. Looked like Joveljic took it down. Got it onto his right foot. Hit it right at Carlos Coronel, who was positioned perfectly.
Van Zier, a little flick almost over his head towards Morgan on that New York right-hand side of the field. Again, Nelson not getting beaten in behind, forcing the Red Bulls back.
Tony, to your point about Joveljic, as that ball comes in, it was actually Gabriel Peck that indicated to Yamane he wanted the early service in the box. But guys, I wonder how much, and it happened so quickly, Joveljic using both of his arms to kind of caress that off his chest, and that was incredible.
Oh, lovely little ball in behind here. Again, Garces to the rescue. Did he keep it in play? I think it's just a throw in, and that is a big keep it in play because you don't want to give another set piece away.
Especially down this left-hand side for the Red Bulls.
As Dunny mentioned earlier as well, that sun, the way it's lit there, it's difficult for the goalkeeper.
So you're going to get a long throw here from John Tolkien, about 3 yards off the end line.
Instead he goes back. They've allowed the short. Edelman, and that cross is deflected by Delgado. Delgado did well to close him down. Edge of the penalty area, battle for it, and Nelson comes away with it. Paintsel making the run. Good cover again. Sean Nealis done a much better job in the middle of that back three.
Yeah, Sean Nealis has been a bit of a stopgap here for Sandro Sports. Of course, as a manager, right, you always think, should I have gone that way? It's tough not to second-guess yourself when all of a sudden something works in a match. He made a decision with Reyes going out to put Elu back there in the center of the field.
Well, we're over the 3 additional, but there is one last chance here. It's a free kick on the Red Bulls' right wing, 20 yards into the Galaxy half of the field. And Tolkien, a chance for an in-swinging delivery. They've sent the big men forward. Delivered in and cleared. And that will be the final action, Tony, of a fast-paced, thoroughly entertaining first half. 2 halves to it, though. Galaxy dominant early, Red Bulls making it scrappier late on.
Yeah, I think we saw, Keith, how dangerous the LA Galaxy can be when they go into the attack and how they can do it in different ways. The Red Bulls, as we mentioned, took that gut punch in the 9th minute, didn't react really well. 13 minutes in, they were down 2-0. But that last 15 minutes, I think, is more of the picture of what Sandro Schwartz would probably want to see from his team coming out of the dressing room.
Well, you can hear all the top matches in the English Premier League every weekend right here on Sirius XM FC. Tomorrow, though, it's a London derby with Tottenham clash with Chelsea. Coverage beginning at 11 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the Sirius XM app. We're going to step aside for a short break. When we return, we're going to hear from Nelson Rodriguez, a really good chat with Tony and Dunny. That's all coming up next. Stay with us right here on Sirius XM FC.
Winolda Talks Football with Eric Winolda and Jason Davis.
Saturday night, I turn on the match, 9 o'clock kickoff. The little one is still up. Don't judge my parenting. He's 3 years old. I'm a vocal fan when I'm at home. I realize, oh, this is See Papa Do, and he does it himself. And he's like, are you kidding me?
I witnessed a 5-year-old say, for F's sake, don't worry about your parenting. The dad just shrugged and goes, he's not wrong. And I went, okay, Dad, good job.
Winolda Talks Football, weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC 157.
A celebration of music on a global scale. The biggest stars, the biggest hits. Honoring all that's hot this year. The Billboard Music Awards channel. On now. For a limited time on the SiriusXM app and on the 10th spot. Channel 11.
Believe your ears. The Christmas season has unofficially begun. Holly has returned. A holiday channel with Mariah, Kelly, Sabrina, and more. Turn up the merry and bright holiday hits that get the season lit. Holly, now through Christmas Day on Channel 79 or listen at home on the SiriusXM app.
Don't miss the biggest matches from the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. Atalanta are one of the hottest teams in Europe.
Here's Lookman! Atalanta strike!
But their true quality will be put to the test when defending champion Real Madrid come to town.
Kylian Mbappe when it matters most!
Atalanta versus Real Madrid, Tuesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the Sirius XM app. Live from Dignity Health Sports Park in Los Angeles, this is the MLS Cup Halftime Show on Sirius XM FC.
There's a break going in behind Paintel, and the goalkeeper couldn't keep it out. Joseph Paintel, electric pace, and LA Galaxy have that all-important opening goal. Joveljic running right down the middle again, edge of the penalty area, still going, and flick, it's in. Galaxy have a second. Forsberg whipped in delivery. Galaxy get the first head to it, not fully cleared, and a chance. Yoshida, acrobatic, Nilas. Oh, it's a super finish from the centre-back. And Sean Nealis has given the Red Bulls a lifeline. They are right back in this one. Welcome back to Sirius XM FC. The halftime score here at Dignity Health Sports Park. LA Galaxy 2, New York Red Bulls 1. And pre-game, our own Tony Meola and Brian Dunsett got the chance to catch up with Executive Vice President of Sporting Product and Competition, Nelson Rodriguez. Tony asked him what it meant to have these two sides in today's final.
Well, we have a history with Metro Stars, Tony, but, you know, I think back to that opening match and remember watching it on TV and seeing the telecast showing that people were abandoning their cars to get out to walk to get to the stadium in time. And it was a great moment. But for me, returning to Dignity Health Sports Park, I remember when this stadium first opened and the Anschutz family was kind enough to invite a number of MLS staff out for a soft grand opening. And I sat in the corner of the section. I called my buddies back in New Jersey, and I was crying because I couldn't believe that this stadium was in the United States for soccer. And so it's been special, 29 years overall, to see where the league is. I think the fans will be treated to a wonderful experience, hopefully a great match. But it's a testament to you, to Dunny, to all the people who applied and tried and made effort in the early days when it wasn't as glamorous, wasn't as refined as it is today. So we stand on your shoulders. It's pretty special.
Nelson, I'm going to come from a different angle, from the Southern California kid that was at Cal State Fullerton, who was at the Rose Bowl to watch the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars taking on the LA Galaxy. And I believe Kenny Hess and Danny Barber were in that game, and they were Cal State Fullerton alumni on the afternoon. I don't think they lasted too much longer afterwards, but they were there. And to be a young man in Southern California and see that there was a direct pathway, it wasn't to the California Heat or any of the LA Lasers indoors, but the LA Galaxy was here, and they had planted their flag. Now, subsequently moving to this incredible stadium, I was telling Tony, when I was over in Barcelona for a couple of years ago, the amount of LA Galaxy jerseys that I saw internationally, and this is pre-Messi at Inter Miami, how do you verbalize the bigger scope of what David Beckham, LA Galaxy, super club in Major League Soccer once was, and now seeing them back in the penultimate biggest game in 2025?
You know, I still trace it a little bit back to that first game. So Charlie Stiltana was the first president of the Metro Stars, and he was very public about he wanted to build a super club. And he received a lot of derision for that comment because people thought it was crazy. And the Galaxy, in a quiet way, went about it, perhaps not as public, but with the same ambition. An ownership group like the Anschutz Group makes a huge difference. They love the game. They want to win. They appreciate the fans, and they build them a great stadium and give them a great experience. So I think it's natural. I think it's good for the league to have big teams, some that are seen as villains, some that are seen as heroes. Today, this bi-coastal affair, I think, creates a narrative we haven't had, and will be interesting to see how it plays out. And I think the abundance of Red Bulls fans that have made the trip will add a real spice to the environment.
They certainly already have. They've been here about 2 hours prior to kickoff, and they have been loud, and the Galaxy fans are just getting involved now with them, so it's been fun to watch. So, Nelson, we're always comparing ourselves, right, to everything, comparing ourselves to 1996 and Phase 1 and Phase 2. Recently, we had a chance from an attendance standpoint to compare ourselves to the rest of the world. The numbers came out that we're second highest attendance in all of 2024, only to the Premier League. You talked about 96 and where we were and how it wasn't nearly as glamorous. Kind of put that number in perspective of where we are in 2024.
I think it puts us in a place where we should stand proudly. We should not apologize for our version of the game. It's a worthy game. It's clearly earning the respect, the admiration, and the fanaticism of people all across the country. And it's no longer if or when. MLS is here. MLS is part of the global game. It's in the global conversation. That's not to say we can't improve. Of course we can. It's not to say we don't make mistakes. Unfortunately, we do. But we have nothing for which to apologize anymore. We should be proud of what has been built in this nation and in Canada. And I think people who give it a chance with an open mind are going to fall in love.
I'm old enough to remember a Don Garber conversation with multiple owners in this league that was a round table of pretty much 5 people sitting at it. As we've seen the growth in Major League Soccer, how important is the footprint that will be San Diego FC, not just from the regional Southern California rivalry, but also, you know, this inevitable conversation with Cholos and Tijuana, what this combined relationship looks like with Liga MX. How does San Diego FC start the conversation of what it looks like in Major League Soccer?
Well, with San Diego FC, of course, the proximity to LA and to Tijuana creates narrative storylines. And that's an important underrated part of growing your league and growing your brand. Whether, again, you're a villain or you're a hero. I think another sub-headline of San Diego FC is the unique ownership group. You're talking about, the Egyptian entrepreneur and businessman, the Mansour family, the Saquon tribe and nation as part owners, Right to Dreams involvement. So it's an interesting blend, which is unique to MLS, perhaps unique to the world. And that reference that you mentioned to Mexico becomes really important to us. And, we're right on the doorstep of the border. And so, again, we invite those Xolos fans to come over and get a taste of American-Canadian football.
Well, Dunny and I have offered up our services. If you need any research done in San Diego, we're happy to do it.
I hear the weather's terrible.
Yeah, you talk about this relationship with Liga MX, right? And we've established this over the last 2 years with Leagues Cup coming, and it's been an incredible experience to see the flavor of the fans that support these Liga MX teams. But there's been some rumors about some potential changes there, which will affect the Leagues Cup and U.S. Open Cup. How much can you share with us? How far along are we in those discussions, and when might we see some of those definitive answers?
I think that we'll be in a position to finalize and announce within a month or so. We have a board meeting next week where a lot of these things will be discussed. I think Leagues Cup took an important step at the conclusion of year 2, and they canvassed the clubs in Mexico, the coaches in Mexico, the clubs and coaches and CSOs and CBOs of MLS, the 2 leagues, got input from referees, and are just trying to fine-tune the event so that it meets the demands and the eagerness of the fans, but also plays into the broader calendar. So the premise has always been those matches between MLS and Liga MX clubs, and is there a way that we can have more of those matches, because that is the essence of the rivalry.
That was Tony and Denny catching up with Executive Vice President of Sporting Product and Competition, Nelson Rodriguez. Pre-match, fans, a reminder, Europe's biggest clubs are battling it out on the UEFA Champions League, and all the top matches are on Sirius XMFC. On Tuesday, Red Hot Atalanta hosts Real Madrid. Then on Wednesday, it's Juventus versus Manchester City. Both matches kick off at 3 Eastern on Sirius XMFC, channel 157, in the car and streaming on the Sirius XM app. 2-1 Galaxy here at MLS Cup 2024 at halftime. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with all the second half action from Dignity Health Sports Park. Stay with us.
The fantasy football season is winding down, and it's time to put up or shut up. Whether you've clinched a playoff spot or have a must-win game this weekend, get the edge you need with Fantasy Sports Radio.
It's time to go ahead and start to look at the fantasy matchups for the fantasy playoffs and plan accordingly.
It's money time. Every decision is crucial. Every point is precious. You need our team of fantasy football experts now more than ever. Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the Sirius XM app, where fantasy football championships are won.
Nobody brings you the excitement of Formula One racing like Sirius XM.
Let's go, come on!
Hear every thrilling lap of a worldwide championship chase.
Verstappen takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and Hamilton couldn't hold him off.
Plus comprehensive pre- and post-race coverage.
That was the best race I've ever seen.
It's the final race of the 2024 F1 season. Sunday morning in Abu Dhabi. Our live coverage begins at 7 Eastern, with Lights Out Racing at 8 Eastern on ESPN Extra Channel 81 and the Sirius XM app.
Move to the sound of a global phenomenon. Hits Uno. The planet's top trending Latin pop hits. From breakout stars like Peso Pluma, Karol G, y más. All on one Sirius XM channel. Direct from Miami. Hits Uno. Channel 151. Or at home with Sirius XM on your computer, Alexa, TV, and other internet-connected devices.
Europe's top soccer clubs are battling it out in the UEFA Champions League, and you could hear all the drama on Sirius XM FC.
And a chance now, and it's been put away by Weston McKennie.
A pair of iconic teams square off in northern Italy as Juventus hosts Manchester City.
Put it for Haaland, easy as you like.
Coverage begins Wednesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC channel 157 in the car and streaming on the Sirius XM app. It's New York versus LA. This is the MLS Cup Final on Sirius XM FC.
Welcome back to Sirius XM FC's coverage of MLS Cup 2024. Keith Costigan, Tony Miola, Brian Dunstead. Tony, electric pace in the first half. Electric start from the LA Galaxy, but Red Bulls got themselves back into it.
Yeah, you would have thought that they would have, but early in that match, as we talked about, they got hit a little bit, and they were rattled, the Red Bulls. And remember, this is really a young side here in an atmosphere like this in a final against the #1 attacking side at this time of the season in the LA Galaxy, and you thought, oh boy, there's going to be a lot of trouble. Sandro Schwartz, credit to him. He made a slight tactical change by putting Sean Nealis into the middle of the field. Seemed to settle things down, helped eliminate. Joseph Paintsil had been so dangerous for the Galaxy in that first half. We'll see what he's got up his sleeves here. At the moment, does not look like any changes for the LA Galaxy as they come onto the field for the New York Red Bulls. Just a quick eyeball here, Keith, looks the same. So both managers staying the same as they were in the first half.
One thing maybe worth pointing out is now New York will be attacking the south end of the stadium, but there's no real difficulties on set pieces with the sun in the eyes of John McCarthy. That was an issue in the first half towards the end with those set pieces.
Yeah, the way the roof is in this stadium, curled to our right-hand side, they won't have to deal with that as there's a shadow in front of John McCarthy to make it a little bit easier. There will be some moments here for Carlos Cornell as the sun starts to set here in Dignity Health Sports Park, where he's going to have to deal with balls on his right side swung in the box. It should go away in a few minutes here as the sun, as I mentioned, goes down a bit, but he's still going to have to deal with it early in this second half.
5 titles for MLS Cup royalty LA Galaxy. But these guys on the field right now, they're trying to etch their names in the history books. You think of so many legends that have played, the Beckhams, the Donovans, the Keanes, some of those in attendance today. If you want to be a part of that group, you have to get it done. Galaxy 45 away. Red Bulls, well, they know if they win, they can become the first Red Bulls to get it done in the biggest of games. 16 years removed from the last MLS Cup appearance, and after a nervy start, they found a footing and give themselves something in terms of hope for this second 45. Guido Gonzalez just awaiting things for a moment. It is Red Bulls who will get us underway to start the second half, as I mentioned, attacking the south end of the stadium from left to right. Sandro Schwartz, I'm sure very happy that his side regrouped. Not just a tactical shift, Tony, but mentality as well.
Yeah, they get the goal off the restart. They knew that would be something. Sandro Schwartz talked about it, how important restarts would be. They get a goal, they get themselves back in the game and give themselves an opportunity here, but there's still a lot of work to be done against this LA Galaxy side, because I don't think they can live that dangerously, allowing Joseph Paintsil to continue to run in behind this back three.
And we're hearing a vast array of West Coast music here inside the stadium. It's been a feature this year. Kendrick Lamar, they're not like us, and nobody has been in terms of opponents against the Galaxy in this stadium. Unbeaten in 20 at Dignity Health Sports Park this year. And it's the Red Bulls who'll try and change things in that regard, attacking from left to right in possession. Forsberg, Tolkien goes back inside his own half. Edelman. They're a goal down, Tony. What is the message from Schwartz? How do you manage that going forward and not getting caught on the counter?
Well, I think you got to be better with the ball, first of all, which is not a strong suit, if you will, for the Red Bulls, although they have been better this year, and Lewis Morgan gives them an opportunity. Dante Van Zier, who just pushed one out of play, he's a bit of a hold-up player that gives them an opportunity. And, of course, Emil Forsberg. How do they get him involved in the match? The more he's on the ball, the more effective that they are. More often than not, it's when he's running at this back three on a counterattack. But I still think, Keith, you got to shut down Peck and Paintsil. And they're missing the other P, as you're talking about, in Ricky Puig. But these two have really grown into the match. It took a little while for Gabriel Peck, but he was effective in that last 15 minutes of the first half.
I think the Galaxy might have broke a nutmeg record as well. They had about 6 in the first half. I think 4 of them were on John Tolkien. Ball back with Coronel. longer service forward, trying to pick out the pass over the head of Yamane, but he's been good defensively. Here is Tolkien this time. Overzealous in the challenge was Peck. Sean Nealis, as we mentioned, went back into that centre of the back three role. Harper, longer ball forward. Yoshida going out wide, but that's really good running from Morgan to get the wrong side of Yoshida, and he's won a throw in here as well. That's good play from the Scottish winger.
That's one of the things we talked about. Can Lewis Morgan run at Yoshida a little bit more than running at Emi Garces?
And Garces again gets there ahead of Van Zyl. He's been really quiet, Dante Van Zyl, and he caught Garces as Garces was clearing that one. Maybe a little bit of frustration from the Belgian.
I know we're going to look at Paintsill and Peck and the attacking players all the time. If someone wanted to make an argument in that first half, Emi Garces was the MVP, I would have nothing to say. He was outstanding in that first half.
Yeah, Tony, right there, Garces knew exactly what he was doing. Van Zyl did nothing wrong. It was Garces' follow-through that struck Van Zyl. That's the frustration in the conversation with the referee right now.
Dunny, you're right down there. What struck you about the body language of the players coming out for the second half, for particularly Red Bulls, after they kind of got themselves back in the game with that goal?
Why not, Keith? I think if you're Sandro Schwartz, the mentality is you're in that locker room saying, yeah, we were poor in the first 20 minutes, but we built ourselves back in the game. For LA Galaxy, they fell off the side of a cliff at the end of that first half. So right now, it'd be interesting to see who can establish that rhythm in the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Nice rhythm here from the Galaxy, getting the ball to Paintsill on their left, in line with the edge of the penalty area, coming back inside. Plays the ball for Yamane, central. Delgado on that right, and it's good cover from Ilo, but again, he looked uncomfortable as he gives it right back to Delgado.
He made a good play on the ball, but he looked uncertain what he wanted to do with it.
And that's a whistle in favour of the Red Bulls. Galaxy just looks so smooth when they move the ball around.
Dangerous tackle once again. Remember, Mark Delgado sitting on that yellow card, taken in the 39th minute. Interesting decision to go to ground on that challenge with Edelman.
Another long ball forward. They're looking for that now a couple of times. Morgan in the space between the left back and Yoshida, the centre back. That one well off target now to play.
And just to your point, Greg Vanny, just below us on the bench, he's talking to that back four about the spacing. He's talking about guys running in between.
Stroud completely misses that header. Battle right at the halfway line. Harper, again, same area, playing the ball behind Nelson, but this time Yoshida gets there quickly ahead of Van Zyl. Van Zyl, just 4 goals this season for the Belgian striker. They're non-existent so far.
Seems to be a little bit more of a shift with Morgan and Van Zyl over on this right-hand side of the attack, with Forsberg kind of hiding in that pocket in front of Surreal.
Cameron Harper giving away the free kick. Gaston Brugman was about to break. We're getting a look at the screen here on Ricky Pooch, who is in attendance, smartly dressed. Now the Galaxy would love to have him on the field. Yoshida.
Now, by the way, Keith, how interesting is it that he looks as if he's not injured? He's got a slight limp, but he's walking without any crutches whatsoever. And the fact that he tore his ACL and played the better part of 30 more minutes is extraordinary.
And set up the match-winning goal.
Stroud here just gets a piece of Joseph Paintsill, and we know the physicality of this Red Bull side. I imagine that's something they want to get back to, especially knowing that Guido Gonzalez isn't quickly going to the pocket to give out yellow cards.
Yamane. The ball forward. Peck coming inside. Well marshalled. They're not allowing him to come inside and then go forward. He has to go sideways. Brugman, who's had a really good game in the middle of midfield. Paintsill. First time we've seen Nelson go beyond him. Paintsill plays in Nelson. Edge of the penalty area. Brugman the option back. That's the one he's gone for. Yamane making a good run instead. Edge of the penalty area. Delgado could have gone for goal. Instead he goes for Yamane. Chip cross. And out of play for the goal kick.
Yeah, Yamane gets this one all wrong. Good ball played out wide by Mark Delgado. Made a run in the box, and Yamane didn't really take a step to cross it, tried to chip it in and hits it over the crossbar.
But Tony, we were talking before the game, not just about the starting 11, but the impact subs available for both of these teams. And for Greg Vanny, thinking about Diego Fagundes, Marco Royce, even a Miguel Berry warming up to my left-hand side for Sandro Schwartz, a Corey Burke, an Elias Manuel, a Carmona. Which of these players that didn't get the start could be iconic players at the end of 90 minutes?
Now, we see it all the time, right, in finals and big moments where the guy you didn't expect becomes the hero.
John McCarthy, right, for LAFC 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This time,
MLS
2 years ago,
yeah.
he wasn't on anybody's mind, was he? Taylor. Cross for Dylan Nealis. Good pressure from Paintel. Nealis goes back to his brother. Always weird to say that in a match. Sean Nealis. Coronel. Good press here from the Galaxy. Oh, good play from Dylan Nealis. Just sidesteps it. And he walks forward. And plays a very good ball as well. Stroud. Yoshida well out of position. Forsberg. Good play this from the Red Bulls. Taylor. Tolkien further forward. Taylor's going to drive down the middle. Little ball in behind. Van Zier could go for goal. Good block. Really good block after a good run from Van Zier.
Well, this is a different Red Bull side here the first 5 minutes of this second half. They look calm on the ball. Something that we don't necessarily equate to a Red Bull side.
Forsberg. Tolkien. Cross in from that left. Did it take a deflection? No, it didn't. It'll be a goal kick. But going back to the block, Maya Yoshida had to go every step of the way with the run of Dante Van Zier.
And he had to get it right. And the one thing you see oftentimes, right, players shooting in between the legs of center backs or defenders trying to make a play. He doesn't do that. He makes a really good block, gets the timing right, puts it out for a throw-in. Eventually here, the Galaxy earned themselves a goal kick.
Tony, I'm just off the back shoulder of Maya Yoshida, and to watch that experience from the Japanese center back, to read the moment where there's a little bit of panic in Garces with the run coming through. He read it perfectly.
Paintel. Yoshida. Nice ball forward, nice attempted ball forward from Nelson. Completely miscued it as he was looking for Gaston Brugman right on that left line. Just on Yoshida, he told us a story earlier in the season when Giroud signed for LAFC. He said, of course I know him. If you look at a lot of his posters, you'll see me in the background. He has a good personality, a veteran who knits this back four together. Good play from Peck, good skill from Peck, but inside his own half of the field. Yamane. Wide on that right is Delgado. Back for Yamane. Again, he goes central, the right back. Brugman central, instead it goes to Joveljic. One side of the field to the other, Nelson, Paintel. Harper, you call for it. Harper is coming back in.
Coming back a little bit deeper to offer support with Dylan Nealis now 10 yards behind him.
That affect you though, trying to get forward?
Yeah, it does, but it will open up something eventually when the double team comes. So Joseph Paints a little bit of experience here, just sat on the ball, was kind of seeing what the defenders look like.
9 minutes into the second half here on Sirius XM FC. Keith Costigan, Tony Miola, Brian Dunseth, MLS Cup 2024. Galaxy racing into a 2-goal lead. Painter with the opener. Joveljic with a deft finish for the second, but Sean Nealis with a super finish to get Red Bulls back in all the goals in that first half. Here come the Galaxy, edge of the penalty area, left for Paintel. Paintel called effort, just wide. Really good dummy in that build-up from Joveljic.
Yeah, a little give and go with Yamane and Mark Delgado down that right-hand side, and the ball played across the top of the 18-yard box. There was one dummy before it got to Joseph Paintel, got it on his right foot, but couldn't spin it around as much as he wanted to and bend it into that far corner, but a great opportunity.
Yoshida, towering header, clear. And again, one back in a high position by the Galaxy, Joveljic. Paintel making the run in behind. Inadvertently, it takes a deflection towards Paintel. He lets it run out of play. There'll be a throw-in for the Galaxy, right in line with the edge of the New York Red Bulls penalty area. Tell you what, the atmosphere has been electric today, Tony. This Galaxy fan base is buying in again, back behind the team after a difficult decade. Sorillo, Yamane, lovely ball forward. Delgado trying to get that one from Joveljic. Dylan Nealis, not the best header back towards his goalkeeper, but luckily nobody chasing it in, and Coronel has it. Cameron Harper, chance to open up here on this right-hand side. Again, that ball down that line, asking Yoshida to come out and defend. So far, so good for him.
Yeah, getting in behind John Nelson here. And of course, with his experience, he reads that play, but I don't think you want he and Lewis Morgan matched up too many times. It was Morgan with Emi Garces. Garces had won all of those foot races in the first half.
Tolkien playing this ball in behind. Forsberg getting advanced up against Garces. Was inside the penalty area, now forced wide. Tolkien. Just sense there's a confidence right now for the Red Bulls. Stroud. Dylan Nealis. Harper on this right wing. Edge of the penalty area. Gets his cross in towards the near post. Garces with the challenge. Morgan went down. It was one of those where the defender's at full stretch. Didn't quite see if there was any contact. Not much of a complaint.
Yeah, not much protest. You're exactly right from Lewis Morgan here. It looked like Garces did get the ball. Referee Guido Gonzalez had motioned that Garces had gotten the ball.
Forsberg. Lovely turn away from Yamane on that left. Tolkien. Best spell, I would argue, in terms of possession for the Red Bulls. Edelman. Always means that little bit more for the homegrown players. Tolkien coming inside Yamane. Confidence growing for him, but good interception. Brugman took that off the foot of Emil Forsberg. Now a chance to break. Ball played over the top. Peck trying to get in behind, then Coronel comes out.
Oh, guys, I've just been watching Emil Forsberg at the number 10 for the New York Red Bulls, and he's kind of sitting on this soft side of the left-hand side of the attack. Guys, it's almost as if he's avoiding the foot traffic of the LA Galaxy as well as other players centrally. And that last one was a great run, but it was almost as if his lack of movement and wanting to be consistently involved in this buildup is affording him some time and space, but it doesn't seem ideal for the New York Red Bulls for their shot to try to get back into this match.
Dunny, what do you make of his overall performance in this match so far?
He's had a couple of important touches, but I don't know if it's the Ricky Puig effect, but you almost wish that he had more of an insistence about getting on the ball, being more of the rhythm player for the Red Bulls.
And Tolkien does really well to get back in there inside his half of the field. Gabriel Peck, such a pest in those situations. A good play from the US international left back. What a great moment for him today, up against one of the best in MLS.
Yeah, so it was the matchup we talked about prior to kickoff here, and it became the Paintsill versus, I guess you say, Harper and Dylan Nealis down the right-hand side for the Red Bulls. But I still think that one, Tolkien and Peck matchup.
Taylor with a lovely ball in behind. Garces again gets back in. Van Zyl was getting ready to pull the trigger, but what recovery pace from Emmy Garces.
And you wonder why he didn't shoot it first time, why he needed another touch, understanding that Emmy Garces with that recovery speed was just behind him.
Tony, he was setting himself up with that left foot to go to his right and slot it to McCarthy's left-hand side.
What a ball by Elu as well, who was just streaking forward. And Brugman coming the other way. The flag stays down for now. Peck in behind. Good recovery run from Elu. Does really well. The center back.
And Paintsill was making a good run in behind Gabriel Peck. Elu, maybe the moment of the game for him, breaking up that play as it was a 2v1. He gets a foot stuck out. He's able to clear this one and start the build up for the Red Bulls. And as Dunny was talking about, Emil Forsberg has dropped a little bit deeper here in order to get his foot on the ball, trying to find some space.
Ball played central. Back for Dylan Nealis. Excuse me, Sean Nealis stepping forward. Harper, back for Dylan Nealis. Sean Nealis. There's an option in the middle, and Stroud looks away from it, comes back to the right. Harper. Good ball central, but again, Garces just forcing Van Zyl wide. Morgan. Again, the possession is with the Red Bulls. Fourth lowest possession team in MLS this season. Good spell here. Lewis Morgan. Harper. Three players on this right wing. And the home fans just trying to get behind their team, give them that little bit extra. Sean Nealis. Elu. Forsberg on that left wing. Tries to play it forward. Garces intercepts. You mentioned, Tony, an MVP candidate. That was outstanding.
Yeah, he's been incredible, Emmy Garces. Last play, breaking up, recovering with Van Zyl was outstanding once again.
And here come Galaxy breaking. Nelson just over the halfway line on this left. Paintsill further forward. So it looked like he was a little bit tired there, Paintsill. Didn't want to make the run in behind. Here is Garces. Nice little entry pass to Soria.
He's simple, guys. Garces plays really, really smart, really, really simple.
He's having a very good game, Danny. I know you as a former defender will appreciate.
Well, I thought he was the MVP against Seattle, to be quite honest with you.
I think I would agree with you. Delgado getting the ball out to Peck on that Galaxy right-hand side. Back for Brugman, about 25 yards out. Comes to this left for Paintsel. He's inside the penalty area, trying to cut inside. Still going. Brugman! Caught it well.
Wow, did he get through the middle of this one as Paintsel cut across the top of the 18 and laid it off to Gaston Brugman, was about 20 yards out. And struck it with some force. 2 or 3 yards wide of Carlos Coronel's right post.
Trying to go back to the comparisons, by the way. Dunny was a defender, so is Garces. That's where the comparisons end.
That might be.
I want to clarify that.
It's funny, in the first half, you guys were talking about his speed. It was I remember I got the opportunity to play with Eddie Pope, and EP22, one of the best in the history of both MLS and the national team. But when you have that type of player profile and you're playing next to him, you just know, you feel so secure and confident that no one's going to break you down.
And Yoshida, and it's a battle for Red Bulls to get in behind that Galaxy line. Morgan really hasn't been sprung, and I guess when they have got him behind, it's the man we're talking about, Emi Garces, to the rescue. Hey, look, here's some substitutes getting ready to enter the action for the Red Bulls. About to make a couple of changes. We'll get more from that from Dunny in a moment. Another long ball played again. Garces intercepts. Dylan Nealis. There's a sense there's a little bit more energy here from the Red Bulls in this second half.
Yeah, there's certainly a more confident side. We talked about that coming out of the dressing room. Garces once again here clearing across, coming from that right-hand side of their defense.
And the two subs having the last words with Sandro Schwartz. Coming towards halfway. Ronald Duncourt is one of them. Elias Manuel is also going to come on. He's a goal-scoring threat, and he's got 12 goal involvements this season. Going to be interesting to see who's going to be replaced here. Coronel, long ball right down the middle, over the head of Yoshida, but comfortable for McCarthy. Well, hasn't had much to do in the second half, the Galaxy goalkeeper. Coming up on 19 minutes into the second half here at Dignity Health Sports Park. Glad you're along with us on Sirius XM FC. Keith Costigan, Tony Miola, Brian Dunseth. MLS Cup 2024. Galaxy leading by 2-1. Edelman. Not a good header clear. Delgado gets away from Tolkien. Yamane trying to get in behind. Yamane! Off the post! Went near post. Coronel gambled.
And he caught Coronel cheating here. Coronel thinking that Yamane, typically known for his assist, was going to cut this one across, and he goes near post. Coronel would have had no chance had this one been on frame. Completely cheated down to his right and just watched it go off the post to his left.
We always hear goalkeepers shouldn't gamble. Stay up. Don't give up that. He gambled.
No, he gambled.
He put all his money on the table. We're going to see those changes now. Les Manuel coming on. Perhaps no surprise to see it's Ante Vanzer. He really struggled to get in the game.
Yeah, and credit to the back four for the LA Galaxy for that. They'll try with Elias Manuel. Brings a different profile to this side.
Duncourt coming on. I think that was for Stroud, if I'm not mistaken. Tolkien. Harper. Duncourt making a good run out wide. Harper! That one's blocked by Nelson. Inside the area, and Nelson threw himself at it. And Duncourt beat to that one by Paintsel. Good energy, though, and the Red Bulls attacked Duncourt with the overlap.
And Greg Vanny having to go at Gabriel Peck here for not retreating. Gabriel Peck not even looking over to the sideline here.
All that early energy in attack from the Galaxy now. Sense a little bit more nervousness in the building.
And Keith, with the adjustments made, it looks like Manuel and Lewis Morgan going to be a little bit more in the central region with Forsberg flaring out to that left-hand side. Dancora going straight in the midfield.
I think this is probably better for the Red Bulls to allow Forsberg to find a little bit more space. It's not going to be central, but as you talked about, Dunny, he will find more pockets on the left-hand side.
Fresh legs, different profile, and a different challenge for LA Galaxy's two center backs.
Is there a time for you guys where they go away from a back three?
I think it's dependent upon what the game's giving you, obviously, Keith, but I think there's a chance if you're chasing the game, you have to switch yourself up and give yourself the best attacking options going forward to get yourself back in to a level scoreline.
Well, they won a set piece here, and we know they were good in these situations in the first half. I said there was no issue in the second half with the shadows, but that's changed here. Just look over the shoulder of McCarthy inside his six. The sun creeping back into his
it's actually underneath the roof in the walkway, kind of shining through. So an odd moment, but you see John McCarthy's position is at the 6-yard box. So the initial ball, he's not going to deal with the sun in his eyes. But as he retreats back to goal, he will get back into that sun for a little bit.
Tolkien loves this angle, this outswinger instead. Instead, he's gone short for Edelman. Edelman with the chip. And that one's going to travel through. Emi Garces is claiming he was held. Doesn't matter. It's how to play harmlessly for the goal kick.
And he shakes Guido Gonzalez's hand because I think Gonzalez, the referee, did see the tug on the jersey from Sean Nealis.
But guys, isn't that the third or fourth time we've seen the New York Red Bulls deliver a flat service as opposed to a ball?
Yeah.
From a really unique angle.
Yeah, they're almost taking your angle away that you're trying to create more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, they're killing themselves because the only thing you have is just going to be a knockdown ball in a set piece like that.
Especially with someone like John Tolkien over the ball as well.
And the size. I mean, you got four guys that are, 6'2" to 6'4"?
So you're wondering now what Greg Vanny's going to do, talking to his assistant coaches now. He's not made any changes. They're 68 minutes into this one.
The one you think about is Marco Reus, right?
That's the first one. You're right.
Need a goal.
That comes to mind.
Yeah, and I wonder what kind of minute restriction or concern he was on after starting the last game.
Yeah, he looked like he was in a little bit of pain.
By the way, he's taller than what he looks like on television. He looks to be about 6 foot. He's lean. He looks strong. I've been watching him warm up to my left. He most certainly has the burst right now during warm-ups.
The other guy that comes to mind is Diego Fagundes, right? Someone who could break you down with the dribbles. Always got a little bit something special in him.
Tony, what about Miguel Berry, man? Bull in the China shop.
But then you got to take Joveljic out, right? And although Joveljic has not been involved, he's hot during the playoffs.
True.
And I guess that would be your challenge, right, in your mind. And how you do this.
Yeah, work rate versus technical ability.
Well, right now it's the Red Bulls in possession, but not really going anywhere with it. Inside their own half of the field, passing amongst the back three. Now into Edelman. He tries for a more adventurous pass, and I'll let you guess who intercepted
and
that.
Garces just stepped in front of Maya Yoshida, the other center back, to win the ball.
I got you too.
That's what Eddie Pope used to do for me too.
And now there's a break on the far side. Gabriel Peck going towards the end line, and he plays that off. Alert's going to be out of play for the corner. Elu just stepped off him. He didn't want to dive in.
He didn't want to dive in. He knew it looked as if Peck was trying to set him up with something.
Hey, Tone, I got a question for you. It's an oddity that you never see on television. But John McCarthy, every time the ball goes out for a corner in favor of the LA Galaxy, John McCarthy's coming over, grabbing the spare ball,
I've watched this.
and just keeps bouncing, like batting the ball down to the ground over and over.
It's almost as if like he can't get his gloves right, and he's trying to figure out, how to get them to the right sort of stickiness, if you will.
The spit, the water.
Yeah, I've seen it now. The entire match.
Yeah,
nothing gets by us here on Sirius XM FC. Gaston Brugman with the corner outswinger. Well cleared. Forsberg clearing it as far as Yamane. Forsberg trying to lead the charge, but Yamane calmly and coolly passes to his right, and Soria. Tolkien. Manuel, first touch for him. Ronaldo Korn. Is there a break on this left-hand side here for Tolkien? This time he's got more numbers forward if he wants to be a little bit more direct. Instead he goes for Forsberg. Central. Forsberg. Good help back from Joveljic, the number 9. Really good defensive play. And now he breaks the other way. Now he's taken down. And that is going to be a card. And Joveljic not happy.
Joveljic just has to walk away here, let Guido Gonzalez do his job here as Cam Harper picks up the yellow card.
Easy decision for the ref as well.
No doubt. I'm looking at Mark Delgado. As good as he's been, Keith, he is gassed right now.
That would be the one maybe you would look to for Royce?
Yeah, he would be the logical choice. I mean, he is gassed at the moment. He has done so much work.
I believe.
Well, Dan Kalichman just walked down and had a conversation with Marco Royce. Marco Royce is about to enter this game. He's making his way to the bench to get his kid on. He's going to be the first change for Greg Vanney.
Yeah, and you can hear the atmosphere as well. The home fans absolutely love the German star. Came in mid-season. Some of the football. Think back to that El Tráfico comeback. I think that was the night the Galaxy started to believe they were contenders again. They had to win their own city back before they won the league back. Long ball forward towards Paintsel. In a battle there with Dylan Nealis, who's recovered from a shaky start. Clears, but only as far as Nelson. Gaston Brugman. Peck, back for Delgado. Yamane, lovely first time ball. Brugman on the turn. Delgado keeps going. Cross! Peck, big save. Coronel, point blank range, only a yard away. Had to react quickly. And now the break the other way. Morgan. Manuel on the far side. Manuel with a good run. He's inside the penalty area. Up against Cerrillo. Cuts back. Manuel. Forsberg. Lots of time. Called out just wide.
Off the post, I think, Keith. At that far side, it went from a save to make it 3-1 for the Galaxy, down 1-0. And Coronel with an outstanding save. And then an immediate counterattack down the other end for the Red Bulls. And Dunny, you probably had a pretty good view of that one. It looked like it kissed the post.
Lewis Morgan, it absolutely did. Lewis Morgan gives that ball to Manuel. Manuel won it on the right-hand side. He shifts left, then picks out Emil Forsberg. As Forsberg shimmies and shakes off the defender, he curls that ball. The power, the pace, and the accuracy to ping that left post and just inches away from leveling the scoreline.
That might be the moment we look back on, right?
You took the words out of my mouth, Keith. Yeah, that was the moment. When you think about the setup for this Red Bull side and the way that play happened.
Manuel trying to play that one forward again. Yoshida over his own shoulder, clearing it as far as he can. Brugman, good challenge from Doncon. Two subs have added real energy for the Red Bulls. Ball played for Paintsel. Inexplicably left by himself. Did he keep that one in play? He did. Towards the end line, inside the penalty area, cuts back, good defending. Excellent defending to deny him. And Nealis plays it forward. Brugman. The gloves are off here, both sides going at it. Delgado. Yamane. Delgado, center of the New York Red Bulls half of the field. Out to this left-hand side to John Nelson. All the way left for Paintsel.
Hey, Keith, Dan Kalichman just came down and told Diego Fagundes to head to the bench at the 75th minute.
Okay, wow. So you'll have him on and Royce on. More control of the ball maybe, but transition, does that hurt you?
Yeah, it will be open in the midfield here. But Gaston Brugman has been really good as a replacement for Ricky Puig. Obviously a different type of player, but hasn't really taken a step wrong here.
Good football here, they're in behind. Coronel comes out, and no one goes just wide. Gabriel Peck thought he'd scored, he was in on goal, the flag has gone up. And that's one of the rare occasions where the attacker's happy the flag has gone up.
Boy, how about the movement from the LA Galaxy here in, back, and through? One of my favorite things to see in a match. And the through ball was from Gaston Brugman, who's about to exit this match for Marco Royce. So he is the guy coming out right now. His last contribution was an outstanding ball played in just offside.
Cerrillo is trying to get the attention of Greg Vanney as if to say, what's the formation, what's the shape here?
It looks like Marky Delgado is going to drop into Brugman's position, and Marco Royce is going to play more as a 10, a little bit ahead of those two players.
Well, guys, we've been talking about the environment here at Dignity Health Sports Park. I'm just letting you know, my Apple Watch just went out, and it said loud environment. You just hit 100 decibels inside the stadium.
Love it. Exactly what we want in the final. Two teams going toe-to-toe. And the Red Bulls, I'll tell you what, credit them as well. Credit Sandro Schwartz for getting his side off the canvas. They look down and out. Royce, first touch for him. Gets it back, Marco Royce. Menacingly across the halfway line. Lovely ball out wide for Paintsel. Paintsel trying to cut back on his right foot. Little flick towards the far post. Royce in the penalty area. Royce that goal. Coronel with the save. Talk about instant impacts though. Marco Royce.
You said what a ball played out. For our listeners here, he was about 30 yards away from goal on the far hand side, maybe 35 yards away. And he got through the middle. He pinged one across the field to Joseph Paintsel in his stride. He didn't have to do anything to get forward, then runs to the back post to get a ball. I don't know if he was trying to pass that across instep or trying to play it to the far post.
Tony, that ball, that's a Rolls Royce pass right there. He pinged that about 4 feet off the ground. That, 50 yards across the field?
You see what he did there? Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hold on.
You got it? Good
I got
it. Well done, Dunny.
Well done, thanks, bud.
Hey, you're done for the day, Dunny.
Thank you. I'm going to hit the showers.
Listen to that atmosphere. And, mishap there by Yoshida. Yamane comes across the cover of Elias Manuel was almost in behind.
Guys, first take from Garces all match long.
Harper, big switch towards Tolkien. Forsberg coming back. Back out for Tolkien. Can't get an angle to open up the cross because of the positional play of Yamane. Little lofted chip behind. Harper heads it back across. Yoshida diving header out of play for the corner.
But
good play from the Red Bulls.
Yeah, the Red Bulls have grown into this one, and no secret to the formula here. They've got Emil Forsberg on the ball a little bit more, creating down that left-hand side. Dunny, that's that pocket you were talking about.
Well, Tony, I think it's Manuel. I think it's the substitution, the impact of his movement. His player profile is causing so many difficulties for the two center backs that Forsberg's finding more space.
You could argue he's done more in his limited time than Van Zier did in his.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, as a starter. Tolkien, in swing and delivery again. Good header clear. Yoshida. Encore. Beyond Harper, out wide again. Tolkien, another chance to cross and just couldn't get that lofted enough. Garces with the clearance. Encore on the second ball. And again, this one's flicked. It did get beyond.
Garces
down. He's down.
Yeah, he kind of jammed up his ankle. I think right now he's kind of stretching. He might have just cramped up as he reached for that ball.
I think Yoshida's asking for water as well. Looked like he was motioning towards a drink for him.
But he's stretching out as well.
Keith, Greg Vanney just called off the sub of Fagundes, who's at midfield right now. And they put the sign up, and Greg Vanney, I don't think is going to be happy waiting for this.
Yeah, it's going to be for Joveljic.
What are your thoughts on that, by the way? Fagundes for the number 9.
I wonder what that. I imagine they moved Gabriel Peck into the number 9 position, put Fagundes and Marco Reus as Joveljic comes off the field underneath.
It was like he was listening to you because as you were saying it, Reus pointed at Paintsel and told him to do exactly that. He's played there a lot this season. He played there when they had some defensive issues. Fagundes was very good on that left-hand side.
Well, you're also hiding him a bit, right? You're getting fresh legs in the midfield, and you're still allowing the dynamism of Paintsel to cause problems against this back three.
By the way, Diego Fagundes, a player I grew up watching play. He's still 29. He has been around for an awfully long time.
I think that's a misdirection, Tony. I don't think the true light of his math is coming through.
Or maybe he just hasn't grown up yet. That's it.
Bit of both, maybe.
I was going to say 50-50.
Doncourt. Reus. A good play immediately in. Fagundes not allowing Dylan Nealis to play it forward, but then overzealous in the challenge, went over the back of the defender. Be a free kick for the Red Bulls. 11 minutes to go at Dignity Health Sports Park. This game is on a knife edge.
Well, Tony, from a center back perspective, with Joseph Paintsel going more central and isolated 1v1, it's going to be a difficult test for these center backs. Big, strong, they're combative, they like the physicality. Now you have a player that dips in, dips out, wants to play off your back shoulder, and has the ability to stretch in behind you consistently.
Garces clearing that one. Again, he didn't look comfortable as he did that. Fagundes this time wins the free kick. Harper with the challenge.
Keith, he looks like he's just waiting to cramp up right now with every move. And you wonder, Dunny, with all of these balls swung in the box, they've got Corey Burke, the New York Red Bulls do, on the bench. Does he enter this match? Because he obviously would be a pretty good target in the box. At the moment, whatever Sandro Schwartz has in the bag, 10 minutes to go, goal down, he's got to pull it all out right now.
100%. You wonder if Carmona and thinking about Corey Burke could be the two players at the same time that maybe changes the structure of how they're trying to play, but gives them the physical assets to cause LA Galaxy problems.
Corey Burke, who came on a couple of years ago in MLS Cup, didn't he? For Philly Union. Ball played in for Forsberg right at the halfway line. Out to this right, and Harper again forced back. Dylan Nealis trying to knock it forward, but to nobody in particular, and Gaston Brugman gets off the bench, and much to the light of the fans, a little header back towards one of his teammates sitting on the bench with him. Hasn't been vintage Galaxy since that early beginning.
Keith, I apologize, but Garces just turned to Jalen Neal, who's warming up just to my left, and told him, get ready, get ready. So obviously the indication is that he's struggling significantly.
And he's won that header. Yeah, I think you're right.
He's on the limp.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's limping at the moment.
It was that clearance about 3 minutes ago. He kind of jammed himself up, and I thought he might have just jammed his ankle in the moment. You know, like when you kind of toe poke a clearance and it just kind of shocks you. But he's certainly struggling.
I wonder if Greg Vanney's going to take that risk as the Red Bulls come forward. Can the Red Bulls take advantage of it? Their possession here again. Harper for Gundes getting back defensive side.
Red Bulls with 6 guys across the front line here with John Tolkien furthest on that left-hand side, as high as anybody on the field. So just throwing everything at the Galaxy right now.
Yeah, and Tony, I mean, the flip side for Greg Vanney, he might want to get Jalen Neal on the field no matter what.
Pull out wide again, the cross, deflected. Now a chance to break. Paintsel further forward, Peck. Rise that challenge, and he could have played the ball for Fagundes, and he comes back and said Fagundes had acres of space to run into.
He missed that pass.
Yeah, miscue from Peck. And now the Galaxy can't clear their half of the field. Dylan Nealis. Harper, a little chip inside the area. Manuel. Harper gets it back for Gundes. Ball played for Royce. Central. Back for Delgado. Delgado playing that one in behind. Lovely ball, lovely run. Peck with a bit of daylight. Dylan Nealis trying to get back in. Peck caught underneath his own feet for a moment there. Royce inside the penalty area. Back for Peck on this left-hand side. For a moment it looked like he was in. Gabriel Peck.
Yeah, he tried to spin there, make a move. What about Marco Royce when he gets to him? It doesn't look like his heartbeat raises at all.
Red Bull's actually winning the possession count right now. Not a number you had on your bingo card for today. Yamane right down the middle. And it was an attempted turn by Peck, and the flag actually goes up against the Galaxy. Couple of changes that you guys predicted. Mickey Carmona coming in, Corey Burke coming on as well. And Dylan Nealis, so this is throw everything at them time
I think
for the Red Bulls. Edelman and Dylan Nealis coming off.
Well, somebody try to figure out how they're going to line up now. Good luck with that. Again, this is throwing all caution to the wind.
That's done his job, by the way, Tony. We're safe up here.
Yeah, from my unique perch, I can definitely tell you what the formation looks like to you.
There's no doubt Corey Burke's going to get out in the middle. Limited minutes for Corey Burke this year for the Red Bulls. Sean Nealis. Hey, look.
Jalen Neal's gone over to the bench to get his kit on, guys.
Jalen Neal, the young centre-back. Is that... I mean, it has to be like for like. Are they going to try soldier on with another defender alongside Garces and Yoshida?
Well, you just don't know how Garces is going to continue to go here. Just looking at his movements at the moment.
Harper. Back for Sean Nealis. Inside his own half of the field, coming wide here for Carmona.
What's also interesting, guys, Eric Zavaleta is another center back that's on the bench, but he hasn't warmed up once this afternoon.
Forsberg. Good run on this far side. Morgan, that one's deflected off Gabriel Peck. Again, back in doing his defensive work, but it's another corner for the Red Bulls.
It's a massive effort there from Gabriel Peck, but as you mentioned here, thing that's been a thorn in the LA Galaxy side is corner kicks, and in particular, corner kicks from their right-hand side.
And the shadows are back here, aren't they, because the sun. That's going to be a difficult angle here for McCarthy. He's in between the shadows and the sun-kissed area. Forsberg towards the far post! And it's a free hit for Harper. He just couldn't get enough purchase on it. Over everybody. Harper played it back across. Easy save.
They set that one up nicely to spring Harper around the back post. Everybody running to the near post. A couple of picks in the box, which freed up Harper, but he couldn't. He did not strike it perfectly.
And the ball played over the top here for Fagundes. Lots more gaps for the Galaxy to try exploit as well. Fagundes decides not to push it. Comes back into the middle of midfield. Royce. Oh, what a ball for Delgado. Paintsel. Royce. Everything is first touch on Marco Royce. On the turn. Tolkien with the challenge. Good challenge.
And a really good timing there from John Tolkien. Marco Royce adding a little bit in the attacking side of things with some movement.
Doncon. Forsberg. He wanted Harper to be a little bit more advanced. He looked around. He wasn't. So he goes back for Doncon.
Well, Tony, one of the dynamic things for John Tolkien to keep in mind, too, Mauricio Pochettino, head coach for the U.S. men's national team, inside the stadium. Remember, January camp right around the corner for more of the MLS-based players.
Yeah, really good shout, Mauricio Pochettino. Watching some of these potential U.S. men's national team stars. Wouldn't mind having Paintsel and Peck among those, would he?
Yeah.
Tolkien driving forward, Doncourt plays that ball forward, good ball forward. Burke, little give and go, really good play. Kimona gone all the way central. Lots of numbers in the attack for the Red Bulls.
Burke throwing his arms up in the air, trying to occupy Yoshida. He wants balls served in the box.
Garces another header clear. Forsberg trying to turn. Good defensive play by Sorrillo.
Well, the backside cover and help has been tremendous for the LA Galaxy maintaining this lead, guys. For Yamane, that's been the third or fourth time he slid back across to his left.
Now we are going to see Neil. They were waiting.
Yep.
Sorrillo.
He just took a big
Garces has gone down again. It was a long ball forward. There was contact on the challenge, and Garces, you'd imagine it's got to be him, given the body language over the last 5 minutes.
Well, Keith, that wasn't cramping. That was Corey Burke giving him a nice little taco sandwich right to the face.
And they're calling for attention to come on here as well. But such a difficult circumstance for a young centre-back like Jalen Neal coming on.
And just for confirmation, Guido Gonzalez, he's making the motion with both hands to the head to indicate to everybody inside the stadium and the medical staff that this is a potential head injury. And so they're going to go through the steps, including a concussion protocol, just to make sure that he's capable of going.
Dunny, we just saw it on our monitor here, and it wasn't a swung arm from Corey Burke. It's just him using his arms to get up in the air, and he does catch Garces.
Tony, rule of thumb, day one with the New England Revolution back in 1997. Alexi Lawless elbowed me right in the head, and he goes, "Get your arms up." And from that day forward, you try to clear space, and as a center back, if that ball's coming in, you got to get your arms up and make sure that you're not going to get an elbow or a forearm to the face.
Well, if you're enjoying Tony Miola and Brian Dunstead on today's broadcast, then you will love the show Counterattack. Tony and Dunny are chatting with the biggest names in the sport. They provide expert analysis on the top leagues and around the world. Join them tomorrow morning at 10 Eastern as they recap the weekend of World Soccer, including reaction to today's MLS Cup final. Counterattack Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 10 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the Sirius XM app. Mauricio Cuevas getting ready to come on. Not tomorrow, Monday, right? We'll see.
Monday.
We'll hear you guys.
Today is Saturday.
Giving you an extra day.
We will need time to fly back home. Cuevas now coming on, and we'll see how Greg Vanney lines up here. And you see Yoshida motioning to the bench to maybe hold on with the substitution here.
But just on Jalen Neal, we're hearing a big ovation here because Ricky Pooch has been put up on the big screen. And you can talk all you want about missing today. He has played a massive part in this team getting here.
And you talk about that's eating you up inside, right? If you're Ricky Pooch, he's such an important part of this. And as we mentioned early in the broadcast, they have talked about, and they're chanting Ricky at the moment. They had talked about winning this for Ricky. That's all they've all said the entire 48 hours we've been here, and that's been the rallying cry since Sunday. Gaston Brugman turning around and laughing right now with Ricky Pooch as he's about 10 yards behind the bench here. He's got a barrier in front of him. Cannot sit on the bench today, but just waiting. And I wonder if they can pull this thing off, what it'll look like as Garces seems to be coming off the field, at least to get finished up with concussion protocol here.
Good to see him walking off the field as well. As we just go over the 90th minute, we're now at the discretion of the referee. We're going to have 6 additional minutes here on Sirius XM FC, Dignity Health Sports Park, the venue for MLS Cup 2024. Keith Costigan, Tony Miola, Brian Dunstead, delighted you're alongside us. Long ball forward from the Red Bulls. That's going to be a theme over these 6 minutes. Yamane heads it clear. Carmona back in. Yoshida trying to get it clear.
Well, guys, you were waxing poetic, about Ricky Pooch. I almost wish there were 2 trophies.
A long ball forward here towards Burke. He gets there alongside Yoshida. He's been a one-man wrecking crew since coming on. Moncourt, Tolkien at that far post. Yamane towering defensive header from
How
the
many
fullback.
head balls has Yamani won today? He's got to be getting up to double figures.
What about this run from Gabriel Peck? Shades of that goal against Minnesota as he continues to go. Peck still going, and then finally the help defender comes across to stop him.
And you can see some tired legs because Peck was going solo if anything happened here. Paintsill couldn't get there. Marco Royce was 40 yards behind. Fagundes wasn't sprinting forward.
Tony, how fast is he with the ball?
Almost faster than without.
Yeah. Lewis Morgan was at full tilt, head tipped back, trying to catch him. He's got hands on hips right now. He's exhausted from chasing that run from Peck.
Red Bulls back in possession. Ball back for Nealis. Doncorn dropping back in Nealis. You wouldn't be surprised to know he's gone right down the middle. And Garces, he may only have a couple more seconds on the field, but he's won another header. Tolkien, Forsberg, that one cleared by Peck. Paintsill falls to the ground, still almost managed to turn that into something.
And you guys know if you're Emmy Garces, the last thing you want to do when you have cramped up calves is jump.
Harper, and he doesn't deliver the kind of ball as attackers wanted, well behind him. Fagundes on this left, towards Paintsill. Might have been offside anyway, Paintsill. Doncorn. You mentioned Cuevas, he's not come on either. He's ready and needed. Or if needed, ball played out wide. Morgan back inside the area. Burke trying to challenge for it. Tolkien. Another ball out wide. Another chance to cross. Three inside the area over there to Forsberg. And it's gone through his legs. Burke, and that one's deflected out. Yoshida furious with his defenders. But in the midst of all of that, Forsberg had a gilt-edged opportunity and it went right through his legs.
Boy, a scramble in the box, and it was three Red Bull players. Corey Burke, Manuel yelling that Manuel was pulled down by his jersey at the moment. Well, what an opportunity for the New York Red Bulls. They've got the LA Galaxy on their heels right now as the ball bounces around the box. They couldn't steer one on frame, and we're finally going to see the substitution here happen.
Well, Tony, I don't know how long VAR is going to take a look at this, but John Nelson certainly had a good hand on Manuel just at the corner of the 6-yard box.
And the substitution is Paintsill off Jalen Nealon, so it's another defender. Garces is going to go the course. But Red Bulls attacking midfielder Emil Forsberg with a big opportunity. Red Bulls in possession again with Doncorn. Long ball forward into the Galaxy defensive penalty area. Harper, did it come off his arm? That's what the Galaxy bench are appealing. Galaxy have a player down. Carmona. Delgado just now getting back to his feet.
Yeah, Keith, he got upended with Manuel on that 50-50 and really fortunate not to fall on his head.
Another long ball forward into the area. McCarthy comes out and hangs on. Listen to the ovation for the goalkeeper as he plucks that one out of the air.
Guido Gonzalez having a conversation with John McCarthy. He pulled up the landing gear. He was trying to milk it. The referee came over and said, "Get up. The game's almost over."
They got to get this one forward.
Yeah, 4 minutes into stoppage time here at Dignity Health Sports Park. Galaxy still leading New York Red Bulls by 2-1. Hope you're enjoying all of the action here on Sirius XM FC. Red Bulls hoping for one last opportunity. Carmona. Burke back in to win it. Ball played towards Manuel. Forsberg, they have runners on the far side. Morgan making the run. Forsberg trying to turn back, no free kick. That one's cleared by Peck. But he can't get there first. Morgan gets there ahead of him. Cross in. Flick by Manuel into the penalty area. Right into the hands of the Galaxy goalkeeper, John McCarthy. 5 minutes into the 6th additional. It's been a decade that the Galaxy fans have had to wait to be relevant again in the business end of the Major League Soccer season. But here they are, seconds away from a 6th MLS Cup as Delgado just knocks that one anywhere. Carlos Coronel, the Red Bulls goalkeeper, gets it back. He's going to have to get this one forward quickly. Coronel launches it. Burke, Yoshida with a strong challenge. Wow. Carmona. Tolkien, they're being forced back here, the Red Bulls. Still in their own half of the field. They have to get this ball forward. Final 10 seconds of the 6 minutes. Red Bulls launching it forward. They win the first ball. Little flick. Forsberg in behind. And again it's Yoshida with the block. Harper still not cleared. And now it is cleared. And that's the final whistle. Oh no, it's not. The flag has gone up. The Galaxy bench are on the field.
Mayhem right now on the field. The Galaxy think they've won it. There's still time.
It was actually the AR in the near side indicating he felt the attacking player was in an offside position. And that was Guido Gonzalez's indication in the middle of the field. Right hand up. He did not blow the final whistle, just saying it was offside.
We have the cameramen on the field. We have the benches on the field. We have PO staff on the field. Get off and let us finish.
Complete mayhem. Complete mayhem right now in Carson.
Ricky Pooch was on the field for a moment as well, by the way. The flag has gone up. John McCarthy, he was trying to help. He was shepherding everybody away. Back to the sideline.
This now looks like an NFL football sideline. You've never seen so many people in behind the benches. This is complete mayhem. There were doctors on the field, PR staff on the field.
We're 7 minutes into the 6.
Tony, you should have seen security in full panic.
And this may be the final kick. Doesn't matter if there's only a few seconds. We have to go the full round. McCarthy, he's going to launch this one.
He's only got
He plays
Marco
it
Royce
forward. Towards Royce, headed clear. Harper. Still no whistle from the referee. Delgado. Fagundes. He's out on this left-hand side for the Galaxy and he's going to hold on to it. Plays Royce. Back for Fagundes. Out of play. That is the final whistle. LA Galaxy are back where they feel they belong. MLS Cup 2024 champions in front of their own fans. What a game. Red Bulls fought hard after going 2-0 down early on. But Galaxy's quality shone through. What a moment for them. Title number 6, Tony.
Unbelievable, really well deserved by the LA Galaxy. Give credit to the New York Red Bulls. They gave the Galaxy everything that they could handle today. It just wasn't enough in the end. They did have some opportunities, but my Lord, as they carry Ricky Pooch around on their back, I believe it's Gaston Brugman carrying Ricky Pooch around. They said at the beginning of the week, let's do this for Ricky. Let's do it for the LA Galaxy. They are back at the top of the hill.
Incredible. Nobody was predicting this at the start of the season. Nobody was predicting this final at the start of playoffs. Let's talk about the Red Bulls as well here quickly, Tony, because they looked out and their feet are 2-0 down, but they found a way to fight back in this one and can walk away with their heads up high.
Yeah, Keith, you got to give them credit, right? As you mentioned, no one thought they would be here. They fought through everything. They beat the Columbus Crew to start, and you thought, okay, maybe they're building something here. Are they a team of dynasty here? And is this a team that could get it done? And we thought, oh, maybe they're not good enough to get to the finals. They did everything that they had to do. Credit to Sandro Schwartz. He set this team up, made the change. With a couple games left in the regular season to go 3 in the back, it seemed to work for them. They were difficult. We called them disruptive in the way that they play. That's what they were today. They just didn't have enough in the end. The LA Galaxy just too good. And as you mentioned, lift trophy number 6.
Robbie Keane is in attendance today. He scored the winner a decade ago, last time they won a title. And for Joveljic, for Paintel, for Pooch as well, although he's not on the field today, they now etch their names in the history books of this storied MLS side.
As I recall, if memory serves me right, it was Robbie Keane almost in the same area that Joveljic scored the winner here today. So certainly he'd be happy. Certainly the great alumni of this LA Galaxy will be happy. Greg Vanny, give him credit. What is this, his 6th final that he's been involved in? Gets it done again here the second time. He lost 2 times to Seattle, beat them once when he was up in Toronto. Now he comes back to his hometown club where he's got so much history. And he talked about, we asked him yesterday, talk about bringing on the staff that you've brought on. And he said the first thing we needed to do before we got back to the top of the mountain was have people understand what it was, what it meant to wear an LA Galaxy jersey. So it was important to him to have his staff that knew what that meant so they could build in the same direction. and now they get the ultimate prize.
Incredible scenes here at Dignity Health Sports Park. We're going to step aside for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have all the post-game action. We're going to have the trophy ceremony. Brian Dunsett pitchside is going to get everybody relevant in this game on our airwaves to talk to them about a monumental day. LA Galaxy are back as champions of MLS. We'll be right back here on Sirius XMFC.
On the Football Show, Jack Collins watches all the football.
I dragged the 28-man bachelor party to the third tier of German football.
So you don't have to.
It was the single worst game of football I have ever watched in my entire life. I stood with the ultras and I was like, I don't know what you're going wild about because this is absolutely god-awful. It was loads of fun, but the quality of football really, really, really bad.
The Football Show, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Sirius XMFC 157.
911, what is the emergency?
Here, around the clock. True crime.
This is Dateline.
New mysteries.
A mother vanishes just before Halloween.
New cases.
The bone-chilling case of the Menendez brothers.
New twists.
There was no way he was going to let this secret get out.
Who can you trust when everything you thought you knew is turned upside down?
People involved are in some pretty high positions.
Real people, real stories, real mysteries. Dateline 24/7, channel 107, and on the SiriusXM app.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and by downloading the SiriusXM app, you can enjoy a gift bag full of holiday channels just waiting to be opened. Shake the tinsel right off the tree with Jolly Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Let your children take control of the sleigh with Kids Christmas. Or relive timeless classics with holiday traditions. There are dozens of festive channels to choose from. Just download the SiriusXM app and search Holiday now.
Yo, what up, homies? It's Chris Sims, former NFL quarterback and current NBC sports analyst and host of the Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast. The NFL season is going full steam, and we'll be with you every step of the way, breaking down film, picking games, recapping all of the action every Sunday night. So if you want to know more football than all your friends this season, listen to me. Yeah, Chris Sims Unbuttoned, wherever you get your podcasts, and watch us on the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. Peace out,
Dusty
homies.
and Danny in the morning on Sirius XM College Sports Radio, featuring myself, the much smarter and better looking Dusty Dvorak.
Hey, don't forget about your sidekick, Danny Cannell.
Start your mornings with us as we bring you all the latest news in college sports and have fun along the way. Come be a part of the fastest growing show on radio.
Dusty and Danny in the morning on Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84, weekdays from 6 to 9 Eastern.
Don't miss the biggest matches from the UEFA Champions League on SiriusXM FC. Atalanta are one of the hottest teams in Europe.
Here's Lookman! Atalanta strike!
But their true quality will be put to the test when defending champion Real Madrid come to town.
Kylian Mbappe when it matters most!
Atalanta versus Real Madrid, Tuesday at 3 Eastern on SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app. The LA Galaxy are kings of MLS again, winning their 6th title. We're reacting now, right here on the MLS Cup postgame show.
That is the final whistle. LA Galaxy are back where they feel they belong. MLS Cup 2024 champions in front of their own fans. What a game. Welcome back to Dignity Health Sports Park. So much to break down after a monumental win for LA Galaxy. Keith Costigan, Tony Miola, Brian Dunseth alongside you here on Sirius XMFC. Tony, an incredible win today. They're back at the top of the MLS tree, but I go back to that win in El Tráfico. Was that the moment where this side really started to believe they could once again be a champion of Major League Soccer?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's also the time where Greg Vanney started to figure out what he had and the players that he had coming in here. And as we're going to hear from Brian Dunseth here, he's going to talk to El Gato, Kevin Hartman, one of the legends of the LA Galaxy. We'll get more here in just a second. We'll go down to Brian.
Yeah, Tony, you said El Gato, Kevin Hartman, the legend of the LA Galaxy. Kev, first 30 minutes, completely dominant. Then you guys kind of fall off a bit of a cliff. What was the conversation inside the locker room to make sure you were stable to start the second?
Yeah, we just got really passive, and when you invite that type of pressure, obviously Red Bull's a team that's going to keep you under, so it was really about who can get the next goal. It was about being aggressive and go out and earn the championship rather than just hoping that it comes our way, and really grasping opportunity.
Listen, it's been a difficult couple of years for the Galaxy to reestablish to this moment. How important is it? Yesterday I was talking to Greg Vanny about the DNA of yourself, Nikki, Dan Kalichman, to understand what it means to wear this crest on your chest. How was that verbalization from the coaching staff to the player?
It's less about the coaching staff in our old iteration. It's more about having a standard and making sure that there's an infectious group of personalities within that locker room that go out and do the things that Galaxy fans can be proud of, which includes working hard, making sure that you play beautiful soccer and make it entertaining. I think they did a great job of it tonight. So proud of the guys. It's a deep roster. It's a group that has a lot of capacity to do great things going forward.
It almost would have been understandable to lose a game like this after losing Ricky Pooch and the ACL injury following the win against the Seattle Sounders. How proud of you are you of this group, considering he is such a monumental player?
If we have Ricky in this game, his ability to kind of dribble out of pressure would really make things a lot more interesting for us. But I think the fact that we had some games throughout the year in which Ricky was suspended for some disciplinary issues and maybe a knock here or there, it gave us the confidence, I think, to come in tonight and do it without Ricky, and so he's so instrumental to the things that we do, but I think that we have people that can step up, and tonight they did.
LA Galaxy back in the top of Major League Soccer. This atmosphere has been incredible. How do you verbalize what the importance is of this fan base being back behind this LA Galaxy team?
Yeah, it's when we knew that we were going to be able to host the MLS Cup, we felt like we had a massive opportunity to see the fans come out, pay higher prices than they probably ever paid to see a soccer game here in the United States. But I can't say enough good things about them. They've been so supportive this year, and they've been there through thick and thin. And this year, they've really kind of been the impetus for us to really solidify this place as a fortress.
One of the legends of Major League Soccer. I appreciate you, my man. Go enjoy tonight. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, Brian. Brian making up words today. It's a monumental day all round as verbalization. Was that the word?
Yeah, whatever. It's a final.
It's a good day.
That's a championship word right there. And by the way, Ricky Pooch has stripped out of his suit somehow while he's been on the field. He now has sweatpants on. He's got a jersey on, and I imagine he's going to be a massive part of this trophy ceremony whenever we get to it.
You saw a former Galaxy legend, a former number 10, wearing a jersey down there as well on the field.
Yeah, Landon Donovan was down just below us as the final whistle happened. He had a Ricky Pooch on jersey himself here, and clearly you got a sense the minute you got here how important he is and how important he's been not only on the field but off the field. But they missed him today. Kevin Hartman just talked about it. They could have used his ability to dribble out of pressure. Nonetheless, they get the job done, and it was an incredible match to watch. Two contrasting styles. I can't say enough, Keith. Credit to the Red Bulls. They came to play today. It didn't start off well, but they gave the LA Galaxy everything they could handle.
Sometimes we talk about the history, kind of weighs the club down. There was always the talk about how good the Galaxy were. How important was that off-season acquisitions of not just Paintel, of Peck, of building around Ricky Pooch from Will Kunson, Greg Vanny, to give themselves the chance to be in this position again?
You spent $20 million in this league on two players, right? And you bring in two of the most dynamic wingers that we've seen come in as a group in those players, right? So it's really important. We're seeing the New York Red Bulls now just exit the field, that they've saluted their fans up to our left here. Dejected, there's no doubt about it. They should hold their heads up high. Look, it stings when you lose a final. It stings when you get this far and you're this close and you think you have an opportunity against one of the best teams in the history of this league. But from a Galaxy standpoint, as Gaston Brugman looks like he's won the MVP of the match, think about his day. Think about his week. Hasn't started since October 5th of this season, and he comes in for Ricky Pooch with a big responsibility.
Just go back to Red Bulls. What's the one thing Sanders wants later on when he's by himself, maybe saying, that's what I could have done differently earlier, because it was a difficult start for the team?
Maybe the substitute, or not, shouldn't say substitutes, the tactical change to put Sean Nealis in the middle of the field and deal with Paintsill earlier in the game because he established a rhythm. But I don't think there's anything you're going to go back and kick yourself over. Again, you hate losing finals. It stings for everybody. They still need a little bit more, the New York Red Bulls, with regards to attacking players. It can't always be about pressing, because when you do get down, it makes it, when when you go down, score-wise, especially 2-0, it makes it so difficult, and you can't always rely on restarts. But in the end, look, they gave the Galaxy all they could handle. They had a chance today.
Yeah, they came out of an East that had Columbus Crew, who were electric going forward. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, to come out of that, to be unbeaten away from home coming into here, a lot of credit as well. But for LA Galaxy, a massive day, a monumental day for Greg Vanney, who, again, you go back to 18 months ago in this stadium, there was banners out for some of the front office to leave. There was a toxic environment around LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
It has just changed so quickly, Tony.
And Will Kuntz believed in Greg Vanney, believed in what they were doing, because Greg Vanney himself came into this season. Some people were surprised that he lasted at the end of last year, right? He came into this season knowing that he was on the hot seat, but they put some pieces around him that are really, really big pieces of the puzzle. So credit to the Galaxy. Look, it was 10 years, and they couldn't stand it anymore. They couldn't take it anymore. They needed to go out and get some players, and they did.
Particularly, Tony, because the last few years has been all about LAFC in this city as well. We know about LA. I live here in LA.
Yeah.
It is the Fairweather fan city, but the real LA Galaxy fans have come out in force today. They would say they have the city back.
Well, they certainly do today. There's no doubt about it, and they got the job done. And you look at this team, and I know it's hard to repeat. It's hard to even talk about that stuff now. But when you look at their roster formation, doesn't mean they're going to win. They're going to continue to compete with the roster that they've put together. Of course, everyone needs to make tweaks, but they got a really solid foundation. The question is, can you keep Joseph Paintsil long-term? Can you keep Gabriel Peck long-term?
Can
you
the
keep
rumors.
Ricky? You're right. Can you keep Ricky Pooch long-term? As much as he loves it here, eventually somebody's going to want Ricky Pooch in their side. So what can you do from a Galaxy standpoint to keep the group together?
A word on the referee. I know we don't always talk about this post-game. Guido Gonzalez Jr. today, thought he had a very good game.
I thought he was really good. Like, he set the marker early with the first Dylan Nealis foul on Joseph Paintsil, and said, okay, I'm going to have a word with you, but this is what it's going to look like, right? So thinking about that, thinking about the way he managed the game, he never really changed, right? And that's the one thing from a player standpoint. You just want to know what you're getting into, and he didn't change the way he managed the game.
Well, the Galaxy, all the players just gathering. It's that moment, isn't it, before the trophy lift? They're all waiting to get up there. They want to get the real celebrations on the way.
You want to touch that trophy. That's what you want to do. That's what you worked all season for. That's what you work a career for. A lot of guys don't get to do it. I was fortunate enough to be able to do it. And you're just kind of waiting. You're like, let's get out of this commercial and let's get to the trophy ceremony.
Yeah, Robbie Keane is one of the participants lifting the trophy and always gets a good ovation here, the Irishman. What a goal scorer he was for LA Galaxy.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, him.
For New York Red Bulls, you said, Tony, they still have a lot of work to do. What do they need to do to be in a position to, again, challenge next year?
Yeah, it's really, the league's become about players, right? And you got to continue to improve your roster, continue to improve what you do. I think they got a manager that everyone believes in right now, trust. So they're a young team still. And he seems to be the right guy, so continue to get better as the days go on.
John McCarthy 2 years ago was celebrating as the unsung hero or the unlikely hero, should I say, for LAFC. Now he's on the other side of the city, milking in the glory. Incredible day. Marco Reus came on. By the way, no Ricky Pooch. Marco Reus unfit to start as well. The dynamics of that midfield three for the Galaxy, we were wondering how it would look. Looked pretty good.
And unfit Marco Reus, but every touch he had on the ball was crispy clean today. And you got to think that the idea is that next year he comes in and he's a starter and will be fully fit with a full preseason. And I mean, just think about John Nelson, who's just received his medal. Like, who would have thought that he would have stuck in there for Julian Aude, who was the left back that they really loved here. He gets hurt. He makes it stick. I mean, there's so many storylines.
Is that the most impressive thing about the culture? Players earn the right. Surreal winning that number 6 role. Nelson, you just mentioned.
But Keith, the only way you can earn your right is when you're fighting against something, right? When you're fighting against someone else. And then when you build your roster, you generally have competition throughout the roster. If you're unbalanced, oftentimes you don't have enough players to compete all the time. But the Galaxy are clearly not in that position. We're seeing who I thought was outstanding today. We all did. Emi Garces get his medal now. Gaston Brugman. Ricky Pooch is now getting his medal from Landon Donovan.
We used to ask Greg Vanney all year, where's Emi Garces? We've heard about Emi Garces. He said he's coming. He did arrive after that loss in Portland where they struggled. Since then, he has been a rock for this team defensively. So was Yoshida late on, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I love this, by the way. Raul Vargas, the equipment manager, has been here forever, getting a hug right now from Landon Donovan, the last one to get his medal. Those guys are so vitally important to your side.
And we're just awaiting the trophy ceremony right now, which will be led by Taylor Twellman. A man who, if I'm not mistaken, has lost the Galaxy in a MLS Cup final, no?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
You won't thank me for bringing that up, by the way, but we're here with the facts, of course. Well, the Galaxy, the rebuild that took 12 months. This time last year, they were watching the playoffs at home. And now we're going to hand over to the trophy ceremony and Taylor Twellman.
And thank you to Audi for their incredible support and great partnership since 2015. LA Galaxy fans, I was right here 10 years ago for your 5th trophy. It's been a long 10-year wait, so MLS Commissioner Don Garber will present the 2024 Philip F. Anschutz MLS Cup Trophy to today's champions, Philip Anschutz, LA Galaxy.
How about that? LA Galaxy fans, what an incredible day. I want to give a shout out to the Red Bulls for a terrific season. But this day was all about you. Your 6th MLS Cup. What an incredible accomplishment. And Phil, none of this we see here today happens without you. You were the founder of our league. You were the guy that saw the vision of what soccer in America could be, what MLS could be. It's my honor to present the MLS Cup trophy that has your name on it to you and to your captain, Maya Machida. But before then, Taylor, I think Phil has some comments.
Phil, 10 years you've had to wait for your 6th one. How special is this one today for you?
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Don. Was that a game? What a great game. What a great turnaround. And what a great team we have. Let me begin. Let me begin by thanking all of our fans who continue to have faith in the Galaxy. Last year, this time, we were at the bottom of the league. This year, we won the cup. I want to thank our fabulous team. I'm sorry Ricky didn't play today. He's a great leader, a great player. I want to thank our team, who has great leadership and great skill. Thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to thank all of the executives of the Galaxy and at the holding company level who led this turnaround. They did a great job. All the coaching, all the coach staff, Greg, Vanny, our coach, and all the leadership and the guys in the back office and the assistant coaches, everyone that contributed to this fantastic turnaround. Last of all, let me thank Don Garber, our commissioner, and I also want to say thank you to all of my partners, my competitors who helped build this league. Thank you to all of you. Thank you.
How about that? Maya, Commissioner Don Garber will hand you the trophy. And now it's time to party, my friend.
Not sure many people thought we'd hear that song in Carson, California at the end of the MLS season of 2024. What a moment, what a turnaround, and what a club in terms of tradition, of history, of setting the standards. LA Galaxy is right up there in this league.
Yeah, Mayashida is about to walk up the stairs here as his teammates wait for him, and I don't know what that swagger
He's a character,
is.
by the way.
Boy, it's got some swagger here as they're about to lift this trophy.
Well, they wait, they embrace, and now the trophy lift with the group. Mayashida lifts MLS Cup. LA Galaxy are your 2024 MLS Cup champions. Incredible scenes, and I look around and there's not many empty seats. All the fans staying behind to just soak up what was a stunning day of action at Dignity Health Sports Park. Ricky Pooch, front and center of the celebrations as well. Robbie Keane, a former legend, in attendance. Landon Donovan with his Ricky Pooch jersey as well. All the big LA Galaxy dignitaries, and of course the confetti on the field.
There's Ricky Pooch now lifting that trophy. That's the cheer you hear. Joseph Paintsill getting his opportunity at it now.
What was most impressive for you in terms of the season of work from Greg Vanney and his team?
Just how he brought this team together. Look, it's one thing to bring great players in. It's another thing to get everybody on the same page. And then you bring in a luxury player like Marco Reus. And I know he didn't play a massive impact, but you could see what it does for your side. They continue to build the quality here. You mentioned, I don't know, last 10 minutes about Emmy Garces and how Greg Vanney talked about he's here, but he needed to also get fit. And then you have to integrate him into the side. So, you know, then you talk about a John Nelson. Like, this is a guy that thought 6 months ago he wasn't going to have a job, but now he's lifting an MLS Cup trophy. I mean, there's so many storylines. John McCarthy, a guy, they needed a goalkeeper. They go across town to get a goalkeeper. Was he the right guy? Had an outstanding season. I mean, there's so many things that you could talk about with this LA Galaxy side. And then, to your point, Greg Vanney had to put it all together. And I know that's a manager's job, but when it doesn't work, we want to get rid of managers all the time. So when it works, we got to give him credit.
With success comes scrutiny. Paintsill, double-double this season in terms of goals and assists. Peck, the same. How do you hang on to these players?
Well, I mentioned that earlier. That's the job of Will Kuntz, right? Like, his job starts
now.
Turn
the phone off.
Don't text anybody. Turn the phone off. Don't answer it. You know the calls are coming, but for now, the LA Galaxy are going to enjoy this night. There's no question about it. Their fans are going to enjoy this night. They should, as we see John McCarthy just below us, throwing his hands up to the fans underneath our booth here. McCarthy now winning his second trophy in a different LA uniform.
It's funny, Tony. I mentioned the El Tráfico win. The final day of the season, Galaxy had home field advantage in their hands. They lost on the road to Houston. We spoke with Greg Vanney a week later, and he said, that loss did us good. It humbled us. It made us regroup and get going again. And of course, circumstances elsewhere meant they did have home field advantage, but can that kind of help you late on in the season, a loss to refocus your attention?
No doubt about it, because sometimes when you're cruising as a team, you kind of forget some of the things you got there, because everything is going right? So you don't think about, hey, how do we get better? How do we improve? And then you take a gut punch like that. Now you've got to rethink things a little bit, and you say, okay, we're not unbeatable. It can happen to us. Let's go back to what got us here, and it took them no time, right? They went to Colorado, and they just blew the doors off in Colorado, and you could start to see that this is a team that is probably going to be hanging around the first week of December, and you're going to have to compete with this team, and again, ultimately get to this point here and win this trophy, and it's a well-deserved trophy for this Galaxy side.
So yeah, I think we're 30 minutes removed from the final whistle. I'm going to look ahead to next year. Favorites?
I think they're really well built, I said, but a lot of it's going to depend on who they keep and how they look. Paintsill and Peck have only been here 1 year, right? So you'd like to think if that they can keep them, right? Ricky Pooch now, he's got to go through. The beginning of the season is going to be tough. They're going to have to do it without him. He likely won't come back until the last, third of the season, 25% left in the season. So they've got a lot of obstacles. But I can't imagine they're going to sit around and not still continue to make moves and try and get better.
Yeah, that's the Galaxy way, and the Galaxy way is to win trophies. They are back at the summit of Major League Soccer. They have won MLS Cup today here at Dignity Health Sports Park. We're going to step aside. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more post-match reaction. Dunny's down on pitch side right now. Keith Costigan and Tony Miola here with you all day on Sirius XM FC. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
London is calling you to Sirius XM FC for a marquee Premier League matchup.
That's a good ball. Maddison! That is a magnificent goal from Maddison.
Two of the league's most exciting sides face off in the English capital as Tottenham battle Chelsea.
Fernandes finds Jackson, who jabs it into the net, and Chelsea have got a deserved lead on 15 minutes.
Tottenham-Chelsea. Coverage kicks off Sunday morning at 11:30 Eastern on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off PGA Tour Radio. Hear from the biggest names in the sport.
Champion golfer of the year is Xander Schauffele. I think best round of golf ever in my life.
Listen to special shows from people who love the game, like rock and roll legend Alice Cooper.
There's a putt, must be 90 feet long, and you make that putt.
And get help with your own game.
You'll get through your iron shots and have predictable distance.
It's all golf, all the time, on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Hey everybody, it's Conan O'Brien, and guess what? I've got my own channel, Conan O'Brien Radio, here on Sirius XM. Tune in to channel 104 for exclusive interviews with your favorite celebrities, hilarious moments from all my TV shows, showcasing some of the most absurd and hilarious moments from my decades on television, and episodes from Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast and Andy Richter's weekly call-in show. Don't miss out. Conan O'Brien Radio, channel 104, or anytime on the Sirius XM app.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Ryan Day hasn't beaten Michigan since 2019.
You spent $20 million on your roster, and that's what you have to show for it? 10 points? He does have the playoffs to clean up the mess, though. But it might be. I can't think of a coach who needs to win the championship more than Ryan Day.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
On NBC Sports Audio Channel 85 and with the SiriusXM app.
Former NBA player Antonio Daniels talks about the big stories across the league every afternoon on Give and Go.
I'm not saying anything bad about LeBron James outside of the fact that what I'm seeing is a part of being human. It's a part of being 40. It's a part of the longevity. The thing about longevity is eventually longevity comes to a stop.
Hear Give and Go weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern, only on Sirius XM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Europe's top soccer clubs are battling it out in the UEFA Champions League, and you can hear all the drama on Sirius XM FC.
And a chance now, and it's been put away by Weston McKennie.
A pair of iconic teams square off in northern Italy as Juventus hosts Manchester City.
Put it for Haaland, easy as you like.
Coverage begins Wednesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 157 in the car and streaming on the Sirius XM app. The LA Galaxy are kings of MLS again, winning their 6th title. We're reacting now, right here on the MLS Cup postgame show.
There's a break going in behind. Peitzel! And the goalkeeper couldn't keep it out. Joseph Peitzel! Electric pace! And LA Galaxy have that all-important opening goal. Jovic running right down the middle again. Edge of the penalty area is still going. A flick! It's in! Galaxy have a second! LA Galaxy are back where they feel they belong. MLS Cup 2024 champions in front of their own fans. What a game! What a game indeed. And Brian Dunsted's been down pitch side. We're going to join him right now. Brian.
General Manager Will Kuntz. Will, you've been so kind and gracious with your time for the last couple of years. Take me back to day one at the LA Galaxy when you came over. How do you paint that picture of what it looked like to the moment here at Dignity Health Sports Park, lifting an MLS Cup trophy?
It's all about belief in what this club can be, what this club should be, the resources we have, the ownership we have, the staff we have. Never a doubt in my mind we can make this happen.
A long time ago, I was a player in Major League Soccer, and I knew that Phil Anschutz was the bricklayer for what this league was and ultimately what it's become. And so many people have tried to follow in suit what he's done for Major League Soccer. How do you verbalize to the general public and the fan base the importance of Phil Anschutz owning the LA Galaxy?
Mr. Ray is one of one. Right? There's a reason he's so successful. He believes in his people. He believes in himself. And he will always support everybody around him. We're incredibly lucky to have him.
We talked to Greg Vanny yesterday about the pieces of the puzzle that you guys went into the war room following the end of last season, of how you got Dejan Joveljic help, the wingers, the opportunities to score even more goals. Peck, Paintsel, Ricky Pooch. My man, how did you put this together?
So, we had a lot of really good pieces to start with. And when you're in the Galaxy, you can go out and get world-class players to come in and be a part of it. So whether that's Gabe, Joe, Marco Royce, John Nelson, John McCarthy, it's a little bit of everybody.
I was telling the story today that every time I seem to go to Europe or go to South America, everyone's rocking LA Galaxy jerseys. How do you verbalize the importance of reestablishing who you are, not just in Major League Soccer, but the city of Los Angeles?
And the Galaxy name should be synonymous with champions, right? I mean, that's the name of the game. So, look, we had the belief always, and we just had to show everybody. But we're fucking back.
I love it. By the way, it would have been understandable if this doesn't go your way following the loss of Ricky Pooch. How do you explain the cult of personality he is inside of that locker room to be so selfless in a moment that he could have been so selfish?
Oh, Ricky's a massive piece of everything we do, but also the guys, when he went down, the guys came in on Tuesday, ready to go to war for him. So never a doubt we get done without Ricky. It's a testament to our group.
It's been incredible. Congratulations, my man. Guys.
Brian, the architect behind the scenes, right? Greg Vanny. He put everything together on the field, but this man, we can't overstate what a job he did in that offseason, Tony.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And look, you can have a plan, you can spend money, but you got to have the right plan and you got to spend money in the right place, and that's what they did. And this is the ultimate goal here. And look, they've been a model in this league for so long. There's been 10 years. And I think when you're a model for so long and then you go that 10-year spell where you don't win anything, and last couple of years not making the playoffs, all of that stuff, you start adding up, and you knew eventually they were going to come back. We didn't know it would all happen in 1 year. That's what this league is about. That's what can happen in this league. But again, it starts with a plan. It starts with a lot of smart people. It starts from the top, being in line with your manager, having an idea of what you want to be, who you want to be, and how you want to get there. And they got it done ultimately, and credit to them. It's not easy. It's never easy. We see it every single year, and that's why this day is so special. Finals in MLS and winning a trophy, it becomes more difficult every single year.
Did they get a little taster for this one today in what they had to do against Seattle in the conference final, where they had to defend at times? They weren't at their best, but still managed to grind out the win.
Well, I think that Seattle game, what it did, Keith, was give the Red Bulls maybe an idea of how you can beat and how you can compete with the LA Galaxy. Now, different side, but you got to be good defensively. You got to be organized. You can't give them things. And I think if the Red Bulls are going to kick themselves about anything, it's probably the first couple minutes of that match, first 15 minutes of that match, when they go down 2-0, where they just didn't seem ready to come out. They were nervous. It's understandable. It's a young side. So the fact that they came out nervous, you can make rationale around all of that. But they've got to bounce back and get better.
Now let's go back down to Dunny.
Hey guys, I'm here with another legend of the LA Galaxy, Landon Donovan. LD, good to see you, man. By the way, when you retire, you can get unfit like the rest of us, right? Hey, I would go back 10 or so years ago. I feel like I did the last interview on this field as you walked off to cap off your retirement. I mean, think the importance of the LA Galaxy and reestablishing themselves amongst the elite of Major League Soccer. How do you verbalize that?
Well, I'm biased, but I think this is the best club in our country, and someone said today that next year is the 30th season. I was like, wow, 30th season, where did it all go, right? But I'm proud that, forget about win or lose today, I'm just proud that I feel the soul back in this club. And whether the Galaxy win another championship or don't, you just need the Galaxy to be good for the league to be good. And obviously I love this club like my family, so it's been a great day.
Well, the iconic force behind the history of LA Galaxy, Ricky Pooch, rocking the jersey, supporting him. From your perspective, what kind of a player is he? How do you start to describe the influence that he has?
Well, there's two things. You usually learn what a player's value is when they don't play. And you can even see from the game today how much different the Galaxy were, how much different we were without him. So that tells you everything you need to know about him. But most importantly for me, Dunny, is he cares about the club. Like, I just talked to his dad for a couple minutes. They love the club. They do. They love the club.